Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-721-4643. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-721-4643 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-721-4643. 800-721-4643. 800-721-4643.
Do you have a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more that you don't need? Well, don't lapse or surrender your policy. You might be sitting on a gold mine. That's right. You may be able to sell all or part of your life insurance policy to Coventry for cash, or a combination of cash and coverage with no future premiums, even a term policy. Call Coventry Direct at 800-411-8300 or visit coventrydirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-411-8300. For over 25 years, we've helped thousands of people sell their policies, and we can probably help you too. Call us today at 800-411-8300 or visit coventrydirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-411-8300. Call now.
Hey, it's Nick. Join me for WPHT's Veteran Spotlight, a program where we shine a spotlight on one outstanding local veteran in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation, celebrating their remarkable commitment to community service and their exceptional service in the military. On Wednesday morning, June 5th, we honor Dale Wetherell, United States Marine Corps veteran, for his service and his exemplary contribution to the veteran community. Presented by Window Nation. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
Yeah, thinking about Biden in Philadelphia yesterday, I will say this, how well orchestrated it was. Did you know they didn't really have those pro-Palestinian protesters? They kept out major heckling, which is probably, I believe, why they limited the access. So certainly they could have fit another 1,000 people at least in that gym of Girard College, which is a private boarding school, this wonderful boarding school. But, you know, why did they limit it? Because you know why. They had to vet each and every one of the people there. I seriously doubt there were 1,000, maybe counting all the security and cops and, I don't know, custodians in the building. It doesn't look like 1,000 people, but okay, let's say it's 1,000. They could have fit many, you know, probably 900 more, 1,200 more. But afterwards, listen to this, because he was at a couple stops, not just in Philadelphia, here in Pennsylvania. And a reporter, you're going to hear the reporter ask the question. I know that it's noisy at the airport, but listen in for a moment if you would.
President Biden, will you be serving your full 4-year term or handing over power to Vice President Harris?
You see him turn. Are you okay? Are you all right?
4 years or handing over?
What?
I can't hear you. Could you approach?
Are you okay? Did you fall on your head or something? Thanks, everybody. We're out of here. So that was a smart alecky. And you see President Joe Biden, the entourage there, which included Senator Bob Casey. Good. I'm glad that Sleepy Bob was there too, which Rich Ziola used to call him the cicada, because, you know, you see him once every 17 years or whatever. But I'm glad Casey was with him. I'm glad for those pictures and images, because I think Biden hurts Casey. And even though they're saying, are you with me? Look at the polling in Pennsylvania. He's going down. And part of that, yes, is the economy here. But he says to him, he's a smart alecky. Are you okay? Did you fall on your head or something? And oh, ha, 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 they all laugh. But it's a legitimate question. President Biden, will you really complete your second term? See, they don't want that either, because Kamala Harris, you think of Charlemagne the God, who's on every show right now, who is saying hey, I'll vote. He's an influencer. They want him. He was on The View. They're all, why didn't you vote for him then? Why don't you endorse him then? Because he doesn't have to. Why are they doing that? Because Kamala Harris is not popular and nobody likes her. Doesn't matter your ethnicity. And so they're trying to say, well, because you're black, you should vote such and such way. Isn't that racist? I think last time I checked, that's kind of the definition of racism. Call me crazy. What a day. We are watching this very carefully as this jury and the questions in the Trump trial are fascinating to me, and we're all watching it live and local. If this jury comes back, of course, Dom and then Riccioli, we're all going to have it 24/7 coverage. So if they come back today or whether they come back tomorrow at any point, that's why it's awesome that we're live and we're local, and we always want to bring you the very latest as far as what's happening, whether it's the Trump trial, whether it's something like Supreme Court Justice Sam Alito, who basically is being bullied and harassed by the media, if you want to ask me about it, or locally. We do have, and this will break during the Dom show, and that is at 4 p.m. today. We'll have a news conference from Ocean City officials. So they are unveiling all of these new, tighter restrictions and so on, so that they want to keep everybody safe on the boardwalk. Because obviously there are a lot of Ocean City, and shore goers who are concerned. If you've paid for those rentals, and we do this, we've owned there, we rent there in the summer. But if you have little kids, and there were a lot of people with 8, 9-year-olds, they had, babies and toddlers. They're on the boardwalk. They're getting their ice cream. There were a couple kids who were knocked over, not seriously hurt, but it's a concern. And so Ocean City officials, they are saying, we're going to fix this, and we've got you. And that will be ahead of, obviously, this Friday. It's June 1st, this weekend. And a lot of people, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, will be somewhere in Cape May County. But in this one, they're holding a news conference, and I have no doubt that they will shut this down. I will tell you this. I know for a fact that there are some, down the Jersey Shore, there are some liquor stores that sell to teenagers and underage kids, and they need to crack down on that. I'm just saying. Dom Giordano is right now.
Hey, Dawn, Byron Donald joining us at 12:30. This guy is right on top of Biden, Girard College. By the way, on the Ocean City thing,
yes.
The police union speaking out. I have to say, I have a question, though. These unions endorse Phil Murphy.
Yeah.
How can you endorse this guy? We go through this all the time when we know what they're going to do to cops.
Yeah, it's so true. You think of Shapiro, got the state police endorsement.
Exactly.
Boom.
Remember, we are New Jersey.
Dom Show is right now.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. If you think you're in the minority for offering financial support to your adult kids, think again. A new Bankrate survey finds more than 60% of parents with kids over the age of 18 have made one or more financial sacrifices to help them with their money problems. Gen X parents, those between ages 44 and 59, are more likely to make that sacrifice than baby boomers, ages 60 to 78. For those needing help after divorce, there's a new trend, gift registries. It allows people to put their lives back together without using those items that may trigger bad memories. Fresh Start is one of those registries. It says it has between 50,000 and 70,000 monthly visitors. Investors are selling today with stocks down between 0.5% and 1%. Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Business on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and online at 1210WPHT.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-688-6641.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
It is Dom time. Welcome in. Byron Donalds is going to join us at 12:30 today. This guy's a real deal, a background in finance, a congressman, Florida, speaking out because of the Girard College outrage yesterday. I still want to know, and look, Dan, I'm even invited to an event with David Hardy, who I really love. He's the president of, interim president of Girard College, a big school choice guy. How do you invite Biden and Kamala Harris there, who are the enemy, in my view, of poor kids? You got to choose. Are you going to stay with the teachers union, or are you going to stay with poor black and brown kids and give them a choice and let them out of these rotten schools? How does Joe Biden get to go to a good school in Philadelphia? Why doesn't he go to one of the public schools? Why was the rally at Girard College with people that are anti that? And by the way, the phony crowd size there, great work by the New York Post. What they did is they have the kids there. They bring in a few people from the neighborhood. Maybe there's a free lunch over there or something going on. And then they make the media space enormous. It's not even a high school. It's like a middle school sort of gymnasium. And the president of the United States and vice president, with this sacred mission and all that's involved and all the money they're spending to reach out to black voters, couldn't come anywhere near filling that. New York Post says estimates a few hundred, including the kids. So we'll play you some of the sound from that. But I want to open with Alan Dershowitz, who, nice job by Dan. He's much in demand today. He's on at 2 o'clock. Here's what he said yesterday, and here's why he's saying it, first of all. You're not going to believe this, and if this happens, I have to tell you, it would come out, we would know about it, and it would ratchet things up from a fever pitch where we are now to something much worse. I'm going to play you Dershowitz last night talking about the fact that he thinks that Judge Juan Merchan, based on his actions, could do something that's relatively rare, and that is if we get to a situation with one holdout juror, and the others are saying, well, this guy's not negotiating on this. He says he's looked at everything, and it doesn't meet the elements of the crime. It's not there. And he's just sitting there saying he's made up his mind, or her mind. Dershowitz says he believes Merchan will call that person in. They'll hit him with the Allen charge, formally, which is, as you know by now, you got to listen to the majority. You got to see the majority's point of view. The majority point of view has to be respected here. That means you have to negotiate. Shortly after that, he'll say, you're not fulfilling your oath. I'm going to give you one more chance as a juror. If you won't do that, I am going to tag in an alternate juror. Now, just think about this with all that we've seen. And then that alternate juror, within 5 minutes, suddenly it's 12-0. Do you think America's going to stand for that? Really? So why is Dershowitz speculating? He's a brilliant beyond guy. I mean, he's written the book, Get Trump. He's saying this because he's been in the courtroom. He's seen the actions of Judge Merchan. And by the way, if I'm taking the pulse, I did a national show last night, and just looking at everything else, there are more and more people suddenly thinking that Trump's going to be convicted here. I'm not sure why. Nothing has happened to change anything. The jurors today wanted the Pecker testimony, so to speak.
Hey.
To the Pecker testimony.
Stormy Daniels already testified.
Yeah, that's right. He wanted Pecker this time.
Okay.
Yes.
David Pecker.
They wanted to go over with a fine-tooth comb the Pecker testimony here. So nothing really has happened, but suddenly you're seeing all these people smarter than the room. Well, what about this if he's convicted, and what about that? There's more of that talk rather than trying to get a handle on where this is going with the jury. Listen to Dershowitz lay this out. I'll ask him about it at 2 o'clock today, and I think some of this is in his mind. He is seeing what I'm seeing. There could be a couple of people here in a hung jury, and Judge Merchan is going to move heaven and earth not to let there be a hung jury, one way or the other. All right, here's Dershowitz. Here's his theory.
And I admit this is highly, highly speculative, but I know a case on this, so that I'm not making it up. The judge said he's not going to dismiss the alternate jurors until there's an absolute verdict. One possible reason for that, and again, I want to emphasize that I'm speculating. One possible reason for this might be following, and it's quite cynical. Let's assume that the jurors come back and say, sorry, we're deadlocked. We have one juror who just won't give in. They're 11-1. And then the judge says, well, is that other juror, the 12th juror, is he negotiating? Is he involved in the conversations? And the foreman of the jury says, no, he's refusing. He's sitting there with his arms folded saying, guy's innocent. Sorry, guy's innocent. I'm not going to listen to you. The guy's innocent. There's no case here. The guy's innocent. If I were on the jury, that's what I'd be doing. And then the judge has the power, rarely exercised, but he has the power. I've seen it done to say, well, if this juror won't deliberate, then he's violating his oath. And I'm going to substitute one of the alternate jurors for that juror, and then immediately they come back with a 12-0 verdict of conviction. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm not saying that's even in the judge's mind. But knowing this judge and seeing him in actions, particularly having seen him in action the day I was in the court when they cleared everybody, but I was allowed to stay. Why, I still don't know. And I saw the real Judge Merchan. That's not beyond the realm of possibility. So anything's possible. This judge wants Donald Trump convicted.
Yep, that's it. Now, even Judge Merchan, but these people get into a bubble. They're hell-bent. We're not going to let this guy leave here. Don't you understand? We're going to do whatever. You do something like that, the backlash, you would think, has to be incredible. All right, so we'll see. I'm still in the camp that says hung jury. I'm not going to go with the wave here suddenly. Oh, he's going to be convicted. You'll see. And the clock that will tell us if it gets past today, if late today you hear something 7 or 8 o'clock, they're coming back in, then he's convicted. But if it gets to Friday, you're going to start to see the wave move the other way to my way, which is hung jury here. 855-839-1210, you get on board. As I said, a tremendous amount of stuff with Biden yesterday that is just regrettable over here at Girard College. I'm going to play you a little bit of that in a second. And I mentioned I'm really excited. It took a lot, thanks to Dan and our other contacts, to get Byron Donalds on the show. And I think he's in the top 3 choices to be vice president.
Great choice.
One note, we'll have on tomorrow some of our people at the shore. Today at 4 o'clock, they're going to announce some changes, some things they're going to do. I'm not convinced, though, Dan, they can get a handle on this necessarily. You know, I don't know what magic wand they're going to wave, but these cops are still greatly restrained. So I see the head of the New Jersey Benevolent Association weighing in and saying, you know, the cops are too restrained here, the Murphy administration. Why do these cop groups support people like Murphy? I know one reason. They're afraid the Republican can't win, is what they would tell you. Okay, if you go around endorsing Murphy, then you got to shut up, buddy, when it comes to the cops under this type of pressure. Just be quiet. I don't want to hear you then. State police, people like that, I don't want to hear it. If Josh Shapiro goes the wrong way, I don't want to hear it. You can't endorse him. Don't endorse anybody then. Say we're not endorsing.
So this guy was just nominated to the head May 7th.
Right.
It's Peter Andreev. You want me to pursue him for an interview?
Yeah. I'd like to ask him then, will
That's
they endorse? Who are they going to endorse in the upcoming governor's race? And if he says, well, wait a minute. How do I know? Wait a minute. And I'm going to tell him. I'm going to tell him, Dan, whoever the Democrat is, are you in your right mind endorsing them? What's the evidence to be a leading Democrat to get the governor's nomination in Jersey or the Senate that you can be pro-cop? What evidence could he produce? I hate to be antagonistic with law enforcement, but we got to wake them up here. You go around saying, yeah, Phil Murphy's sort of okay. We're not in love with him, but he's not bad. He's horrible. All right, here's Biden in full Biden form yesterday. Let's start with, first of all, Dan, cut 6 first. Here's Andrew Wiseman, who was one of the big Russian collusion Mueller report guys. Listen to what he says about Judge Merchan, that he's got a man crush on him.
As you've noted, with respect to Judge Merchan, I mean, I am like now, I have like a man crush on him. He is such a great judge that it's hard to see that the jurors wouldn't have the same impression. I mean, you just keep on thinking, if you looked in a dictionary for like judicial temperament, that's what you get.
I know a lush when I see one, and you're a lush.
Imagine this guy. He's got a man crush on him right there. You know what's going on. Here's President Biden yesterday, though. This is cut 5E. Here's Biden at Girard College claiming that President Trump is just pandering to blacks.
I'm showing you who I am, and Trump has shown you who he is. And today, Donald Trump is pandering and peddling lies and stereotypes.
He also went on to say that
sounds like a little projection there, Joe.
Yeah, that he turned. Oh, yeah. Here's the one. Here's the main one. Democrats were just peacefully protesting during the George Floyd summer. Cut 5B.
The threat that Trump poses is greater in his second term than his first. It's clear that when he lost in 2020, something literally snapped in the sky.
Snapped, Tom.
No, I'm serious.
Snapped.
That's why January 6th happened, when he unleashed an insurrection. Now, he's running again, and he's clearly unhinged. He calls insurrectionists who stormed the Capitol patriots. Patriots. If reelected, he wants to pardon, quote, every one of them. Let me ask you, what do you think he would have done on January 6th if black Americans had stormed it? Think about this. What do you think would have happened if black Americans had stormed the Capitol? I don't think he'd be talking about pardons. It's the same guy who wanted to tear gas you as you peacefully protested
Peacefully
George Floyd's
protested.
murder.
There we
the same
go.
guy who still calls the Central Park Five guilty, even though they were exonerated.
There's more. You want it?
No, that's about enough. I love the peaceful George Floyd summer. He'd want to tear gas you.
Or in businesses lit on fire or anything. No.
Yeah, let's see. He went over it with some entrepreneurs who own businesses. I guess they would not have the police do anything.
It's so ironic for him to say that here in Philadelphia, where we had boarded up stores for what seemed like a month.
And the newest
thing
that we saw, Dan, which was blowing up of ATMs. That was I haven't seen that in a while.
That's
but
true, yeah.
Yeah. All right, here's the side question today. In this date in history, Joan of Arc was burned to death at the stake. I mean, a particularly gruesome. They don't fool around as a form of death. And I've always loved that name, Joan of Arc. Dan of Borowski.
Yeah.
We're looking for a legitimate, not someone you know the middle name and you shove it in there, person that has a 3-word name, like Jesus of Nazareth, like, regrettably, AOC.
Yeah. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
And, of course...
So we will take hyphenated names as long as it's 3 different names.
3
okay?
different names.
Yep.
And I've never seen him called anything but Lee Harvey Oswald. They didn't throw the Harvey in because serial killers get a middle name, that whole thing.
No?
No. I mean, right from the beginning, it was Lee Harvey Oswald.
I wonder why that is. Why not just Lee Oswald? Where'd the Harvey come from?
I guess he used it all the time.
Was there a very famous Lee Oswald at the time that they wanted to differentiate him from?
No, John Wayne Gacy. I've always heard him called John Wayne Gacy.
There's another 3 name.
You didn't say John Gacy. Who's John Gacy? John Wayne Gacy. Yeah. How about yours? How about yours, Dan? I don't hear you. Some mix up here.
Oh,
Yeah,
there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Something's going on my board here. I said, where's Charlie Manson's middle name? He only got two. But how about Marjorie Taylor Greene? I'll take off.
Yep.
I think she has now a 6-letter name that she's also called that's been copywritten.
Yes.
I can't believe that. Andre the Giant, the all-time great wrestler.
That's a great one.
And one more, Dom. Bob the Builder.
Bob the Builder.
Bob
okay.
the Builder.
All right, so we're looking for that. Hit us with
Yes,
one.
you can.
Tell us why you like that one the best. At the end of your call today, Byron Donalds in about 15 minutes here. Got more sound of the president yesterday at Girard College. But think about this. This is a private school, boarding school. Guy Shiraki will be on the show today talking about how they get their funding. Why go there then? Why are they going to a private school where these kids are getting that funding and getting an education? Why didn't Biden go to a great public school? Couldn't they find any in Philadelphia? I mean that sincerely. Or would people start to write stories about it and go, whoa, Masterman, but look at how bad it is now. That might be, and maybe they were told, no, we don't want any of this. Why would a private school? They're against this. All right, phone lines, 855-839-1210. You heard Alan Dershowitz. Could I see Judge Marchand doing this? I have to answer yes, if it comes to this. Now, if it's two people, Dan, and you tag both of them out, I don't think even he's going to do that. He's going to say to the Democrat chieftains, all right, enough is enough. I did what I could. We can't convict this guy. Imagine convicting Trump by tagging out a reluctant juror. Wow. 855-839-1210. You get him right now.
According to a study conducted by Atticus Law Firm, 40% of retirees were forced back into the workforce because they received a deceptive sales pitch from their broker. But there is one way to ensure that you don't become part of that statistic.
Tony Gambone and Denise Gambone, Royersford, Pennsylvania.
I know people that had to go back to work because they got bad investment advice from brokers. By recording our sessions, Crash Proof Retirement proves they're willing to put their money where their mouth is.
The recordings used by Crash Proof Retirement, it's just a natural extension of how Crash Proof is legally bound to do right for the consumer.
Guarantee legally binding transparency for your retirement future. Schedule an appointment or register for the next Crash Proof Retirement educational event at the William Penn Inn on Tuesday, June 11th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Get slimmer for the summer by losing a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or go to njdiet.com. Get ready for spring with njdiet.com.
This is the best time of the year for being outdoors, but not if your knees, shoulders, back, or hips are hurting you. Hey, Dawn Stensland here. Don't suffer any longer. Non-surgical joint pain relief is here at QC Kinetics. Call my friends at QC Kinetics today. QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking lasting joint pain relief. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. QC Kinetics advanced treatments harness your body's own ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. So, you can walk, run, hike, play golf, move again, play frisbee on the beach, pain-free, under the leadership of former orthopedic surgeon Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a true pioneer in regenerative medicine. QC Kinetics has enabled tens of thousands of patients to reclaim their mobility. Call now. QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000. Get a free consultation. 215-999-3000. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, this is Ray Didinger. I had the opportunity to open the new Joe Conklin show. It was sensational. It includes all the impressions, Iverson, Merrill, and Mike Barkley. They brought in this whole musical component with a full orchestra. It's really good. His daughter Casey's part of it. His brother's part of it. They can rock it, boy. So you got all the music, plus you got all the comedy. It's a great night.
That's Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra at Wildwood Catholic High School on June 29th and the Ocean City Music Pier on July 13th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com! Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Okay, it is Dom time, 855-839-1210. You know, I know Fox and the other cable channels have to try to keep the ball moving here while we're waiting for the jury. But the amount of talk of the appeal process, et cetera here, and I just think the appeal process and the whole thing is beside the point. I'm laser focused. I know what this is about. Trump will win on appeal. It's not about that. Now, even if it comes quickly, let's say they went to the Supreme Court and within a matter of weeks, they overrode this decision, which I don't think they would do. It would take a while. All they want incrementally is to get that tag on Trump. We finally got him. He is a convicted criminal. And what the smarter ones around Biden are banking on, not that that will mean the election, that that's a win. They're hoping, though, in a state like Pennsylvania, these people in the suburbs who can't make up their mind, this will give them enough play to possibly win them over enough to win by a few thousand votes. That's what it's about. That's all that it's about. It's not about anything grandiose. It's getting that label for a while through the election to turn some minds to say, yeah, you know what, I can't vote for this guy. You know he's a criminal, right? He just went through the process, criminal. Now, will there be a backlash suddenly because of this kangaroo court? Maybe. Maybe there could be a net plus. But I would say on the other side, there's going to be a little bit of that. If this judge tags in the last juror, though, that is going to be a story like we've never seen. I mean, I can't predict the outrage people will feel around that. All right, let's go to Joe. We met Joe down there in Wildwood. Seems like a million years ago, Dan, of the Trump rally after all this. Let's go to Joe in Columbus, New Jersey. Hello, Joe.
Guys, it was a pleasure meeting both of you. It was a pleasure meeting your whole staff. We took care of one of your staff's duffel bags at one point. But anyway.
Oh, hey, there's got to be a story there. What staff had a duffel bag?
Must be a trustworthy-looking guy.
Yeah.
I didn't get his name. He just said, "Can you look after this? You're going to be here for a while." I said, "Yeah, we're here." And we kept his duffel bag at the base of our feet.
Okay.
Very nice gentleman. Dom, I do not understand, and I can't grasp that anyone could understand the crafting of this aggregate vote amongst all three charges.
Yes.
That means all you need is 12 votes amongst three charges. I mean, that's not a unanimous decision, and it's absurd to me. It's absurd to how this was crafted and how nobody could step in and say, you don't even belong on the bench, pal.
Well, look, Joe, there's a move by the Trump lawyers. They're putting it out there, and I think they would do it, that this is a malicious prosecution. You can go for it. But remember, again, you're in the same New York, even though it is a malicious prosecution. And the problem is you can win on all these things, Joe. I know it's maddening, but my sense is all that they want is that tag, convicted criminal.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
But it defeats the whole judicial purpose of unanimous decision. And for anybody out there not to grasp that is crazy. It's just, Dom, I could be charged with rape, murder, and speeding. And you can have a jury 50-50 on all three counts, and I could be charged with murder.
Yeah.
Under these grounds.
Joe, you have it. This is, and you know what? Finally, they told us sort of what the legs of the stool are, what the underlying crimes are, and then they can't unify that. So exactly to your point, you got to understand, though, a lot of America's not paying attention to this in the way that talk radio listeners are. It is.
No, they want the verdict.
Yeah,
they want the verdict.
They're just waiting for the verdict, and if they hear that, and, Joe, these people in the suburbs, they'll be walking around on Saturday. Yeah, I told you I couldn't vote for this guy. Now how could I look at my kids in the eye and vote for a criminal?
Yeah, if you care about your kids, you should want to get into this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Joe, who's your three-word name?
Dom, I could not come up with one. I couldn't.
Oh, come on,
Joe. Here you go. I got it.
Joe
Sheena I got it. Sheena of the Jungle.
All right. Thank you, Joe. You can watch our duffel bags when we're down there on June 21st at Mulligan's.
I think you gave us four, too. Who did you just say? Did you say George of the Jungle?
I think that's Sheba.
of the jungle, though, right?
Well, make that all one. Make it fresh. Give him a chance.
He's like, I got on YouTube Anne of Green Gables, and I'm like, come on, did we fail math class?
Wait
here?
a minute. Call Judge Marchand and see if he would rule. Hey, yeah, you could put 4 in there and squish the 2
Fred
together.
also
You
says
got 3.
William the Refrigerator Perry. That's 4, Fred. That's 4.
Jim says it's Gene of the Jungle, but it's still
4.
Just have to say Gene of Jungle. Take out the doll. Not Joan of the Ark, but Joan of Arc. That's an all-time
You know who
great
doesn't
name.
work here?
Who's that?
Smokey Bear.
Oh, yes. Well,
it's not Smokey the Bear, right?
Well, I heard an ad the other day, and it had Smokey the Bear, and then the actress reading it had excised it and called it Smokey Bear.
Yeah, see? So, what is it?
Well, I saw, that Roe loves Monk, right? So the tough guy who's the captain in it, Dan, his wife is in a car crash because of this labor dispute situation. And he's getting in the face of the guy that's a labor leader, and the guy's got his thug there. And he says, get your girlfriend out of my face. And I was surprised they didn't excise that. I mean, that's calling the guy. Yeah. Not good.
I just with the guy yelling at the union guy up close, did Roe have like any kind of relatability factor there of
the husband
that's
with
true.
the union guy better watch it. Don't be driving.
Show.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Tarzan, Lord of the Apes is 5 words, Mangle. We're going the wrong direction here, fellas.
It's a 3-word
name.
There's a million of them there. Okay. Like, let's go to Bill of Westgrove, like Joan of Arc. Joe of Exton would have been a good. I'm taking that off the board. Joe of Exton. Let's go to Bill of Westgrove. Hey, Bill, what do you have?
Hey, Dom. It's been a little time since I talked to you. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Hello to Dan. Also, I'm an Italian and Polish kid, but I'm using my name, Wild Bill of Westgrove.
Yes,
that's 5 words. Wild Bill of Westgrove. Bill, I'll give you another one. There's someone that shares your name that is a very famous individual with a 3-word name that uses the first 2 parts of your name. Could you give us that one?
Wild Bill Hickok?
Oh, that one works.
There you go.
Yeah, I was thinking Wild Bill Grenier.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I just don't know how they can say that, I'm having a hard time separating Biden from being a bumbling idiot to being the brains behind trying to crucify Trump. It's just amazing, but I guess it's his handlers that are.
Yeah, and you know what? We don't emphasize enough, Wild Bill, and that is that the people that the reason Biden's not going to drop out, he wouldn't do it anyhow. She wants to remain there at all costs, and the people behind the scenes that are just advisors that have lanes of power they never would have had with an ordinary president on top of things, they are going to make sure he stays there. They don't want somebody else. They got the power. They're running things.
I wish the American people would see what a criminal organization these guys got going down there. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely. Thank you, Wild Bill. Yeah, it's the people, and it's hard to tell. Some of them are sort of there at times. Some of them are Obamaites. But they have power day to day. People particularly running various big parts of the government. Biden's not on top of that. I mean, it's hard enough for a really on top of president. The federal government is so huge. Mayor Pete's probably doing what he wants. Look at the results. By the way, has there been a bigger genius who's a failure than this guy? I don't care if he speaks 18 languages and plays the piano with his hands and feet. He's a huge failure. I mean, he's beyond a failure. Mayor Pete. Pick some potholes first.
It would be impressive to see him play piano with his feet, though.
Yeah, that would be. While speaking Ukrainian.
Yes.
All right. Byron Donalds is next here. Hit us with that all-time 3-word name. One more of President Biden yesterday, though. Here's what he said about, let's see. You may not have heard this. I wanted to play it one more time, Dan. 5C. Here's what he led with. Imagine little kids there. It's a boarding school. Some of them are from K through 12. They're kindergarten, first grade, second, third grade. Here's the inspirational message that Biden delivered to these young Black and Latino kids at Girard College.
MAGA extremists ban books. Did you ever think if anybody over 30 years old, you'd go through a period where banning books in America? They're trying to erase Black history. We're going to write Black history because it's American history. It's American history.
Yeah, tell those kids.
Together we make history, not erase it. To me, the values of diversity, equality, inclusion, are literally, and that's not kidding, the core strengths of America. That's why I'm proud to have the most diverse administration in history.
All right, so we're getting rid of black history. That's what it's all about. Even for Biden, it's low-rent stuff here, even for him, which is hard to do. Byron Donalds, on deck circle next. What does he have to say about the Girard College appeal to black voters? He has been in New York inside the courtroom. And what does he have to say about being a leading vice presidential candidate? Dan, this is up your alley. I think I sent it to you, too. He's coming to town next week, and I'm trying to get in on this, even though none of these are my vices. Congress, cigars, and cognac.
Ooh.
Have you ever had cognac?
No, but I'm open to it.
Goodness.
No, not
I had to
Come
drink.
on.
Look, I had to drink some bourbon for Rand Paul. I'm still recovering from that.
Isn't it the same? Well, I'm going to really anger a lot of people. Isn't cognac?
I think it's a finer
Is
version.
it? Okay,
It
I
seems
thought it was very similar. At
German. You know, every World War II movie, their generals right before we come in.
Oh, cognac's a brandy. Okay.
A brandy. Yeah, they're sniffing that just as we're waiting outside the door to come in and blow them up. Yeah. Too much cognac and suddenly.
You need to find like a fancy drink to hone in on, though. That you're just
okay. I'll leave that to Johnny Z. He'll come up with it. What's wrong with wine? Wine is the greatest beverage in the history of the world.
There's just so many wines.
Except for white wines. That's XM off.
I'm not even responding because that's a sin that you would even say that.
Oh, God.
White wines far exceed red wines.
I'm getting a headache just thinking of white wines.
I'm getting a headache thinking. I'm getting heartburn thinking of red wine.
All right.
How's that?
855-839-1210. You get in. Let's talk FanDuel for a moment. The NBA playoffs have tipped off, but it's not too late to get in on the action with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to use on same-game parlays, live bets, championship futures, and a lot more. No better place to bet than all the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of the NBA. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, first on.
Did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-254-4574. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-254-4574 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-254-4574 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-254-4574.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Here's a great tip for spring. Go with the sure thing. PJ Fitzpatrick has been your trusted roofer for over 40 years. They've earned thousands of 5-star reviews and back all new roofs with a lifetime guarantee on materials and labor. The PJ Fitzpatrick team of experienced professionals installs most roofs in just one day. Set up a free design consultation this month to save thousands. Plus, they're extending the 12-month financing deal. Nothing down, no interest, and no payments for qualified buyers. Visit trustpj.com today.
Have you been thinking about doing a Roth conversion, but the upfront taxes are holding you back? Welcome to Rothright. We can show you how to significantly reduce taxes on a conversion, potentially saving hundreds of thousands, even millions in taxes over your lifetime. A Roth conversion will give you tax-free income, eliminate required minimum distributions, and leave a tax-free estate to your heirs. Sign up for a free educational seminar now. Call 855-415-ROTH. That's 855-415-ROTH. Rothright is not a financial advisory firm. Consult with a tax professional before making any financial decisions. Weather sponsored by Liberty Mutual.
A pleasant air mass has returned to the Delaware Valley. We'll have a mixture of sun and clouds today. High temperature up around 76. For tonight, a cool night, becoming mostly clear with a low 56. And for Friday, another pleasant day, mostly sunny with a high 78.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Dom Giordano's show. Dan and I have for a long time been trying to get on the show Congressman Byron Donalds. We think he's a leading star in the Republican Party. And due to the Girard College situation, the trial and all that, and a lot of work by Dan behind the scenes, there's been some synergy here. So without further ado, let's bring in Congressman Byron Donalds. Hey, Congressman, welcome to Philadelphia. It's a difficult situation we're in here, but I'm very grateful we got you. You're a big favorite of our listeners, and I know you've been around the trial, various events in New York. What are your impressions? What are the things that break out of you at this point in time?
Well, I mean, look, a couple things. First, the trial is a joke. I mean, it's not even it's a trial, which is what's truly disgusting and frankly un-American, but there's still no underlying crime. Mm-hmm. Even in the closing arguments, they couldn't identify an underlying crime. Then you got the judge telling the jury, well, you can just piecemeal the law however you want to. You guys can pick and choose amongst yourselves which law he violated, but if you all come back and say he violated the law, then he's guilty. Like, this is nuts. Like, this is not even, man, forget Republican, Democrat, forget the fact that Joe Biden sucks. We all know that. I mean, we are talking about a complete unraveling of human liberty in America simply because the Democrats have lost their mind. So that's really what's on top of my mind. Like, it is that terrible for our country.
I agree. Now, have you been able to observe the jury? Today I made note, several commentators I trust said a lot of jurors were taking careful notes. I take that as a good sign. There are going to be a few people on the jury that see it the way that you and I do. If there are 2 or more, then this is going to backfire. What are you sensing?
I mean, when I was there, what I sensed is that I think the prosecution lost 1 or 2, maybe 3 of the jurors, where even when they were cross-examining Michael Cohen, that you could see their faces like cringe, twist. Like, really, like, are they serious? Like, did he really say that? That kind of body language. So look, I think it's going to be a hung jury. That's what I think, because there's just no case here. It's insane.
Exactly.
But that being said, the fact we're going through this is a very difficult thing to watch.
Exactly. Now, I follow you carefully, and you have the added burden of the media coming after you on the issue of a conservative congressman and race. You made comments about Joy Reid recently. President Biden was in town today. I think Girard College is a special place. I've been there many times. These are kids in a boarding school, poor, mostly black children. And they are getting a good shot. This is a good school. He opened up today by telling them that MAGA Republicans, conservatives, want to get rid of black history, want to just excise it, banning books. And we're not going to stand for that. Give me your thoughts, particularly the type of crossfire that you get.
I mean, I get it from the press sometimes. I get it from, other people. But honestly, most of these people they're pretty lame. Like, they're not going to do anything. Like, they just talk about you. But as long as you have the courage and the ability to stand your own 2 feet and you have actual examples and you have reasons and logic for why you believe what you believe versus just political talking points and foolishness, then that gives you everything you need to stand firm. But the press, they come at me with the silliest things. Like the New York Times came at me the other day with ridiculous arguments. And the reason why they have to do this is because if the American people actually sit and listen to logical common sense, they will realize that the Democrats have lost it and that the media is in the pocket and they won't want it. They will reject it wholesale. And look, let's call it what it is. The media is in the pockets of the Democrats. That's just what it is. They want the same thing that the Democrats want. They're in their pocket. And so they'll destroy anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, white, black, Hispanic. You're on the chopping block if you oppose their agenda.
Congressman, to that point, for years, ever since I've been doing talk radio, which is decades, in Philadelphia, we've said Democrats, particularly where I am in Philadelphia, you know the layout here, have taken voters of color for granted. Up and down the line, we see this constant. What is it about Trump? Because whether the polling is slightly off or not, there's no doubt that he has broken through. The South Bronx was just one example. What is it that's breaking through at this point that other Republicans have not been able to do?
The fact that he talks direct. He doesn't mince words. He doesn't play games. Everything isn't perfectly crafted. I tell some of my colleagues sometimes, I'm like, don't write your speeches. You already know what you want to say. Just go say it. You are elected for a reason. You don't need a staffer or a consultant to craft everything for you perfectly, so that way you don't fall in the crosshairs of ABC News or CNN. No, the heck with that. And that's not where people are. And I think it's just bigger than just black voters. I would tell you that's where most people are right now. They want you to be direct. They don't want you to pull punches. That's what Donald Trump does. And so I think that now that you're seeing with black voters, Hispanic voters starting to come his way is because he just has a no-nonsense approach. He's not going to run away from people who criticize him. As a matter of fact, he engages them and is trying to find ways to beat them at every turn. People respect that. You couple that with the fact that Joe Biden's the master of disaster. Like, everything has gone wrong. Like I heard in Philadelphia today, they could barely fill a gym. I mean, that's nuts for a sitting president to barely fill a gymnasium.
Well,
but
and these were mostly children.
The president.
Yeah, there's like 200 or 300 kids that were in there that are brought in through the school because it's a boarding school, so they're kind of a captive audience. You're right. He just can't draw. That's a sign. A little bit, if you would, because it's the first opportunity I had to talk with you. And as I said, listeners really admire the stuff that you're doing. A little bit of your background before you came to Congress, how you got here. What are some big issues for Congressman Donalds?
I'm a finance guy. I was in banking, insurance, financial services before I got into politics. So for me, like I became a conservative really because of economics, because it was my career. And then when I started paying attention to politics, my economic viewpoints kind of really settled in to kind of frame the rest of my politics. So I'm a simple guy. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. That's kind of my overarching worldview. And then everything else comes after that. So, for me, what I want to see, cutting regulations at the federal level. So, mom and pops, small businesses, medium-sized businesses, large businesses, they can go thrive. One of the big things that's happened in our country from when Obama was president was they did this Dodd-Frank regulation to save the country from the banks, from the big banks. Well, the only thing that's happened is the big banks have gotten massively bigger. Small banks are virtually gone in the United States. So how does that help the little guy? I mean, the Democrats always say they want to help the little guy. Well, their own banking regulatory policy has destroyed community banking in the United States. That doesn't help mom and pop businesses. So I want everybody to be successful. I want everybody to thrive. And so I don't get into dogmas. Big government's not good for people. Lower taxes is what's good for people. Less regulation is what's good for people. Securing a border is a good thing. People secure their house, but we don't secure our country. That makes no sense. That's idiotic. And so that's really what drives me. I just want an America that works. And if it works and we're using common sense, we're using logic, we're using conservative principles, the country's going to be better off and its people are going to be better off.
Well, I can tell why you don't need talking points now that I know the background a little bit. Congressman often talked on the VIP list, particularly with our listeners. What are your thoughts about that, particularly your style and what we've just talked about? That would play well with President Trump as a VP candidate.
Well, I really don't get into it too much because it's really the president's decision. So I'll tell you what I think about, what I think what'll help the campaign. You got to have somebody who can go out there and take the message. I think that's critical. I think you got to have somebody who's going to be tough with the media because they're going to be going at that person left and right. Obviously, that person's got to be able to to hit the ground running, help the campaign, raise money, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, we win the White House, we win the House, we win the Senate. You have all three. I think the vice president's got to be very helpful in getting the agenda done. Being on Capitol Hill a couple of years, I'll tell you, a lot of times where things don't happen on Capitol Hill is frankly because the leadership gets weak-kneed, or you get a couple of members who say, oh, well, we can't vote for that, or we can't do that, it'll hurt us in our district. And that's how some of these things really don't get across the line. So you got to have you got to kind of have an intermediary between the White House and Congress to help get that stuff done and get it through Congress and get it to the president's desk. Because at the end of the day, if we're, as a Republican, if the American people give us all three give us the two key branches of government, give us the Congress and the White House, you got to do something with it. Like, you can't screw around and then be like, oh, well, it didn't work out because, the New York Times isn't going to like us. Screw those guys.
Exactly.
Like
and Congressman, anyway. Is it your sense President Trump had a lot of drive, the wall and everything else in the first term, but let's face it, you can tell someone what it's like in Congress. You were told that before you went in, but you see what the roadblocks are. And in the second term, you know that you have to really drill down on these things if you're going to accomplish it, even over 4 years.
Yeah. No, you really, really do. And you got to have a strategic vision for it, just on the way Capitol Hill works. So you have to have the vision. Donald Trump has that. You got to have the tactical ability to move all that stuff through and get it done. And a lot of times what ends up in these bills are discussions between chairman and leadership and a handful of members. And you got to make sure that you got key parties on Capitol Hill involved in those discussions of how you're going to craft this stuff so that when it gets to the floor, it gets voted up and it gets out of that chamber. Last thing you want is for, the speaker and one chairman to decide everything that was going to be in the bill, and other members get to see it. They're like, what the heck is this? That sucks. We don't want that in there. Or worse yet, for the White House to see it and then be like, hey, why did y'all put that in there? That's stupid. That's not what we wanted to do. You got to be working as a team, House, Senate, White House. You got to be functioning, everybody on the same page, and then working hard to get it done.
Congressman, thank you. Thanks for being generous with your time. Always welcome in Philadelphia. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, man. Anytime.
All right, there's Congressman Byron Donalds here on Talk Radio 1210 with Dom Giordano. All right, more coming up. Give me a reaction to Byron Donalds. I was most impressed, particularly when we got to the VP question. 855-839-1210. Is he the guy? AT&T and Verizon Wireless, you just push pound 1210. Let's talk Captain Chucky's for a moment. Father's Day, summer cookouts, all good reasons to make the call to Captain Chucky's. Order delicious seafood, make your gathering a hit, let Captain Chucky's help. Don't forget to order the brand new Bang Bang Jumbo Lump Crab Cake. Delicious, creamy, 5-ounce jumbo lump breaded crab cake with a kick. For those who like to spice it up with some heat, check your store for availability. Perfect time, too, to check out all of Captain Chucky's offerings. Delicious stuff, mushrooms, salads, sides, desserts. Captain Chucky's also has several choices of breaded, non-breaded crab cakes, literally a crab cake for everybody. Dessert, soup, sides, appetizers. They use only the highest quality ingredients. And then the Dom Roll. You got to get the Dom Roll. You got to at least try it. So visit Captain Chucky's today. It's easy, very easy to find a location near you. Go to WeLoveCrabCakes.com, WeLoveCrabCakes.com. That'll give you the nearest Captain Chucky's. If you're headed to the Jersey Shore, visit Captain Chucky's at theshore.com.
Kale & Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
A $1,000 donation has just been made on behalf of Linda Kearns, bringing our total to $6,305.76.
Jim Kelly, I'm blaming you.
Elvis for a week.
We appreciate this. Keep the donations coming, by the way. Our goal is $20,000, $25, $15, whatever you can do.
Yes.
All the money goes to the families behind the Badge Children's Foundation. Just go to GregSoccerSucks.com.
Start your day with Kale & Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Hey, this is Ray Didinger. I had the opportunity to open the new Joe Conklin show. It was sensational. It includes all the impressions, Iverson, Merrill and Mike, Barkley. He brought in this whole musical component with a full orchestra. It's really good. His daughter Casey's part of it. His brother's part of it. They can rock it, boy. So you got all the music, plus you got all the comedy. It's a great night.
That's Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra at Wildwood Catholic High School on June 29th and the Ocean City Music Pier on July 13th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-688-6641. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-403-5569 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-403-5569. That's 800-403-5569. What do you have to lose? Call 800-403-5569. Again, 800-403-5569.
Free speech lives here.
The Dom Giordano program.
On Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the Free Odyssey app.
I've been through all that. I'm not a Marlboro man, so I keep going back. Wish I could roll.
Noted talent Billy Ray Cyrus here. That's 3 names, Dan. And who was incorporated in that?
Yeah, it's a Little Nas X, another 3-word name. Yeah.
Yeah, Joan of Arc Day. By the way, a new poll out, Real Queer Politics reporting, Roanoke College poll showing Biden and Trump tied in Virginia. Now, Virginia has become, over the last few elections, not a purple state anymore. It's become blue. I remember, Dan, 2004, it was like 2 or 3 buildings where the radio station used to be, getting a call to me and a guy saying, please hold for Karl Rove. It was on election day. Hannity was in the tank conceding the election, like all the exit polls. And he goes to me, who do you know in talk radio in Virginia? And I said at that point, Carl, if you're doing all this in Virginia, then the election really is over. There's no way Virginia is going to go for a Democrat. At that point, that's 2004. And it turned out to be true. Bush won. It morphed, though, Dan. Starting after that, Virginia has become a solid, almost blue state, I'd say, except for Youngkin, and that was a different thing. Could Trump be tied in Virginia?
Wow.
According to this poll, it is. Now, this idea of winning New York is preposterous, or Jersey. But you may get them to commit some resources there because they get a little anxious. And Virginia now, it used to be Minnesota, it was thought was in play. I think Virginia is tough because of all those government workers in the bordering on Washington part. But can you imagine they were worried about Virginia, Dan, and Karl Rove on a busy election day? And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Not only that, why couldn't you figure out who was in talk radio there? What am I going to tell them? I think Oliver North was on the air then, if you can imagine. This is the stuff that goes on. We don't want to have that on election day this time. The madness of it. All right, so no developments here with the jury. Alan Dershowitz at 2 o'clock today of what he thinks of Judge Marchand, and he believes this guy could tag in an alternate juror. Let's go to Doug in Burlington, who's been holding here. Hey, Doug, good afternoon to you. What's up today?
Yeah, I have a three-name,
yes.
Mark David Chapman.
Yeah, he had the three names pretty early on, Dan. I think that's a legit one. Why is it always the killers, the serial killers? It's rare where they don't have the third name. If they kill somebody famous, they have to have a third name. Yeah,
exactly. Now, let me just explain real quick. There's an eeriness to that in the album Magical Mystery Tour by the Beatles, there's a photo of John Lennon standing next to a sign that says the best way to go is M, D, and C.
Gotcha.
Which are the...
Yeah, gotcha. The initials. Thank you. Thanks. That's a good one. Thanks for the explanation, too. All right, our buddy Guy Shiraki's with us next. Several things to say about how in the world does Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, and President Biden go to a school that is parental choice, boarding school? How is all that funded? Why not make them go to a public school? You know, and with a political campaign with this, would a Catholic school have allowed Biden and Kamala Harris to come there and be this political? Would they allow them to tell their kids that America hates black history and white supremacists are going to do everything they can to them? It's completely out of line. But Guy's got a couple of other things. Yes, Dan.
So I'm just doing some research here. It's a little. You're asking why the three names, and there is actually some. So when serial killers are made in the news, a lot of times press, especially at the time, would use their full Christian name to avoid confusion with others, say Lee Oswalds and such, and that's why you have the three names. But I do have a couple informations that I'll get to probably in Dan time of individuals who have three names that they're known for and why they are known for those three names.
I know. T's coming up here. All right, Guy Shiraki's next. Alan Dershowitz at 2. Love to hear what you thought about Byron Donalds. I was more impressed than even when I've seen him on Fox, particularly his answer to the VP question. And what I like, he goes on CNN. I'm not sure about MSNBC. He's willing to duke it out, and he's not afraid of it. You want to go where they are. If you can do that, you can do a campaign. Big 1 o'clock hour next on Talk Radio 1210.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-721-4643. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and
owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-721-4643 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-721-4643. 800-721-4643. 800-721-4643.
Do you have a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more that you don't need? Well, don't lapse or surrender your policy. You might be sitting on a gold mine. That's right. You may be able to sell all or part of your life insurance policy to Coventry for cash, or a combination of cash and coverage with no future premiums, even a term policy. Call Coventry Direct at 800-411-8300 or visit coventrydirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-411-8300. For over 25 years, we've helped thousands of people sell their policies, and we can probably help you too. Call us today at 800-411-8300 or visit coventrydirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-411-8300. Call now.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. Still breaking down President Biden coming to Philadelphia. Why Philadelphia? To relaunch his appeal to black voters. And why Girard College, the ultimate symbol of funding that goes in a private school, boarding school for poor kids, which the Democrats don't care about. They're on the side of the teachers' unions. And all that comes with that, the money, the foot soldiers, and just the ideology. And at 2 o'clock, we'll talk with Alan Dershowitz about this notion of Judge Marchand that's making a lot of news, potentially tagging in somebody if they can't get to 12 unanimous vote. All right, let's go to Guy. He's got several things written that we want to talk with him about. Guy Shiraki on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Guy, welcome in. Thanks for contacting us, too, to kind of amplify a little bit of what I've been saying about Girard College. This notion, Guy, and I'm kind of surprised at David Hardy. I love the guy, as you know. A big proponent of school choice. It's good for Girard College to have them there, but it's fraudulent.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dom. Yeah, well, first, look, the school is run by the City Board of Trusts, so it is a decision made by a government agency, and it is the President of the United States. So I do want to run a little interference for our friend Dave Hardy. I have not spoken to him about it. But again, the school is governed by the City Board of Trusts by a group of government officials appointed by Democratic judges. So we may want to give Mr. Hardy a pass. What I won't give a pass is the national media, the Philadelphia media, that everything you just said, you'd have to listen to talk radio to know. The irony that Biden and Harris came to North Philadelphia to a school where every single child is there because the parents and guardians exercise choice, being an administration that is 100% opposed to school choice, that campaigns against school choice, takes money from people who are against school choice, to come to one of the poorest neighborhoods of Philadelphia and talk about the wonders of the Biden administration, all they've done for black people in a community that's suffering from crime, inflation, and bad schools, so much so that they found a way to get their kids in this school, and that no one outside of talk radio and folks like you are talking about it is, once again, it's the press was asleep at the switch and missed the absolute irony, and no one asked that question. It is journalistic malpractice.
Well, you're the only one. I was unaware of that the city controls who goes there, because David Hardy is one of the biggest all-time proponents and successful people with school choice, particularly with African-American students, some of whom might have had a little rough around the edges till they went to Boys Latin and they were then successful. There's a heck of a story there with all this coverage of it, Guy. Do you think they just ignored it? Or, as I often think, they're also incompetent?
Well, look, there's a lot of stories, right? To be there as any reporter who cares anything about education, to not recognize that you're out of school, that first of all is not a college, it's a K-12 school, to not tell the statewide and national audience that it's not a college, it is a school for younger children, and to sit there, as you said, and have somebody that's recognized as a national leader. I mean, Dave Hardy is recruited nationally to give talks. He was recruited into Girard College to save it, to rescue it from the financial challenges it was facing. Here is one of the most dedicated, successful African-American leaders, and frankly, of any race, color, creed, or religion in America. And to not bend his ear for 5 minutes and ask him what he does at Girard College or what he did at Boys Latin was malpractice. But to also sit there and talk about the wonders of this administration and what they've done for black voters, and not recognize they're at a school where every single family has chosen to leave the public schools of Philadelphia and find a safe haven where their children are safe and learning. Again, it just, to me, it's sitting them right in the face, and all they did was just show up, take pictures, and say, Joe Biden loves black voters, and he brought Kamala Harris, and then they went and had a nice, fancy, schmancy dinner. It's just unbelievable to me. So who knows? Were they asleep at the switch? Were they lazy? I don't know. It's deeply disappointing. To not interview Dave Hardy is malpractice, and to not talk about school choice, smacking them right in the face, is malpractice. And frankly, if you walk a block, if a reporter had to drive to that school and see the community around there, but for a few of the oasis like Girard College or St. Joe's Prep, you see a community dealing with crime and empty storefronts and schools that don't work, and to not recognize that they're, look at the juxtaposition. I mean, look at those two things against each other. And again, the story is Joe Biden came to Philadelphia because he loves Philadelphia, and it's just malpractice to me.
It is. I'm very glad you're pointing it out. As you know, that's one of the reasons you're in business and I'm in business. The media doesn't do their job. They're either incapable, in the tank, or a combination of the two. And then, Guy, when the president gets up there and tells these little kids, kindergarten, first, second, fourth grade, that they don't want you to have black history. And they're trying to rewrite that and get it out of there so you can't know about black history. I can't imagine being inside the head of David Hardy at that point. My God.
Yeah, well, again, right, you're at a school of choice. You're at a school where every single child is there because a parent or guardian picked it. I assure you that the history lessons that they're learning, the civics lessons they're learning, the American history lessons they're learning are a full American history where you can both talk about the horrors of slavery but how we overcame it, the horrors of Reconstruction and Jim Crow and how we overcame it. But we also talk about the founding of this nation and the wonders of the Constitution, and somehow schools like Girard College are able to do both. And not suggest that there's this false choice or that you have to forget everything that happened before 2020 that's somehow sinful and horrible. But again, all those parents are there by choice. All of them by choice let their children return each year to this school. It's a school supported by Stephen Girard's trust and charitable donations. People, businesses, neighbors, corporations, people around the city, around the region donate there to give money to give these children a choice. And there it is, dripping in irony about it. And Joe Biden talking about, in essence, the horrors of what happens when you have school choice, sitting at a school that only exists through school choice. And it's just unbelievable to me to allow that, to suggest that would happen. It belies the fact that sitting there, you didn't even have to do investigative reporting. All you had to do was drive to the school to see the neighborhood it's in. All you had to do was read their mission statement, and all you had to do was a Google search while you're sitting there on I wonder who the CEO is and what he's ever done. He's one of the most successful educators in the United States of America. He defied the soft bigotry that young black men can't learn. He brought in a Latin regimen that is every bit as strict, every bit as regimented, every bit as rigid as what happens 3 blocks away at St. Joe's Prep, and took them to national honors in studying Latin, a dead religion of centuries ago. And you have this giant of academia sitting there, and no one asks him, about boys' Latin. It is unbelievable. And as you pointed out, Joe Biden, as president of the United States, gets up and implies the exact opposite. It is scandalous.
It's a Potemkin village. Not that Dave Hardy did it, but that's what they set up there yesterday. That's exactly what it is. Guy, we're waiting, of course, with the jury. It's 8 hours and 14 minutes, according to Fox. They didn't put the seconds up yet. We're waiting on that. And, you are Mr. Suburbs, writing about particularly conservative/moderate Republicans in the suburbs. Do you think if Trump is convicted, then that will be the type of thing? You've written one time, I'm a Republican, but I just want you to know I'm not for Trump. It's like your calling card if you're in Chester County. Will they say then, look, I know Biden's bad, but I can't vote for a convicted felon?
My belief is that the outcome of this trial changes nothing unless he's found not guilty, and it may marginally help. I think it's largely baked in. Look, but let's not confuse the two. I think it's largely baked in. That doesn't mean that somebody won't be interviewed by a TV station, or somebody won't be interviewed by a national reporter who descends upon here the next time Joe Biden comes to Chester County and says, Trump was convicted. To me, that's a fig leaf. To me, that is anyone who says that has already decided, for whatever reason, that Donald Trump is not the person they're voting on. I think this changes nothing, especially this kangaroo court, what has taken place. I cannot believe, and again, as you know, and your listeners, I was for Ron DeSantis. I met with Governor DeSantis. I supported Governor DeSantis, but I mean this is a choice between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and what is being done to Donald Trump is ridiculous. The jury charge yesterday, from the judge to this jury, the instructions of the jury are. They would be comical. If it was a Saturday Night Live skit, we would laugh. But it is scandalous that it would happen to any American, and that it would happen to a candidate running for president. So, look, at the end of the day, I don't think it moves one voter. That doesn't mean people at a cocktail party or somebody will tell the Associated Press that that's the reason. Anybody who says it, I think 99 out of 100, they won't vote for him anyway. This is just what they think they should say to be socially acceptable.
Now we're starting to see, to your point, I saw several interviews today all over the place of Haley voters in Pennsylvania in this area. And, of course, they're all saying they can't go with Trump. So the Nikki Haley voters that we saw, some of them Democrats in this, but some of them not, Guy, are they dead set against Trump? Is it a wait and see, in significant numbers? Where are they, do you think?
I think they're all over the board, and they're among that very tiny group of people who are undecided. They're of that tiny group that haven't decided, and I think the next 6 months are going to change them. I think their default setting is not to be with Trump, but I suspect the economy is not going to get any better. The world's not going to get any safer. The border's not going to be any more secure. Crime's not going to go down. Gas prices are likely to go higher, not lower. It's going to cost us more to heat our homes. So all of those things that people say they care about are going to be trending in Trump's direction. Look, again, the Haley voters are, the 2024 version of the soccer moms or whatever. It's the flavor du jour, and it helps the national media tell a story that tries to reinforce the bigger picture. Look, we all have to remember, this is all about the bigger picture. chasing Haley voters is really about sending the virtue signaling message that Donald Trump is a bad guy and that only goofy people are for Donald Trump. And so the more they can fixate on this or that block of people, professional women or Haley voters or whoever, the more they can focus on a certain group, it's a virtue signaling campaign to people to say, don't be for Trump. Nobody you know is for Trump. Run away from Trump. Here's reason 85 you can be against Trump. I wouldn't be fixated on it. For the Haley voters that are truly up for grabs, for the Haley voters that are truly conservatives, they're going to come home to Trump. For the ones who don't, they were never going to be for Trump anyway.
Parting area 2, you have another piece, Guy. Tell us where, and the piece is about so-called moderates. Bob Casey Jr. is the perfect example. You write a litmus test, a reasonable one, that exposes these frauds. He votes with Elizabeth Warren 93% of the time. Elizabeth Warren almost out there with Bernie Sanders. So tell us where the column is and what are you trying to show with this fake moderates in Pennsylvania?
Sure. The column's at Real Clear Pennsylvania. Website is easy to find. It's Real Clear Pennsylvania. It's part of the Real Clear Empire. Pennsylvania and Florida are 2 states where they invite local columnists to write. I was invited to write pieces on campaigns and continue to do it. So it's at Real Clear Pennsylvania. Look, I wrote it because, as I say in the line, Pennsylvania is a purple state. And so the Bob Casey, Chrissy Houlihan, Susan Wild up in the Lehigh Valley, they like to use the word bipartisan. They like to get their picture taken at chamber events. They like to show that image. And you do 5 minutes of research, and here's what you find. Bob Casey votes with Elizabeth Warren 93% of the time. Bob Casey votes with Joe Biden 98.5% of the time. Chrissy Houlihan's numbers of support with Pelosi and Biden are even higher. So don't let the newsletter, the warm and fuzzy pictures, Bob Casey now takes pictures with this fake map of Pennsylvania, and he shows you where he's been. That's all well and good. Bob Casey's a nice guy. I've had a bunch of conversations with him. He may be a lot of things. He is not a moderate. So if you're a progressive or you're a left-wing person or you have hard left views of the world, Bob Casey's your guy. But if you're a moderate, this is not a moderate. And here's the benchmark. Not my benchmark, not Dom Giordano's. Here's Bob Casey's benchmark. Bob Casey ran for the Senate by being on Meet the Press and looking at Pennsylvania voters in the eye and said, you can't be for Rick Santorum. He's with George Bush 98% of the time. Anybody that goes to Washington and is with another politician 98% of the time, you don't need them. Well, Bob Casey's with Joe Biden 98.5% of the time. So all I want voters to do is hold Bob Casey to the Bob Casey standard. He's with Joe Biden 98.5% of the time for the open borders, the crime, the spending, the lockdowns, the mandates, the weaponization of defense. Look, we don't need Bob Casey. He gives us Joe Biden. So he's not a moderate, and it's time we look at the data in reality and get beyond the pictures and the warm and fuzzy postings on Facebook. And I thought it was time to call out the Pennsylvania politicians who like to hide behind it because the facts aren't there. And as I say, if you vote with the left, you hang out with the left, and you let the left control the agenda, you're a leftist. I don't care what suit you wear, what pictures you put on social media. Bob Casey is essentially Elizabeth Warren. Chrissy Houlihan is essentially Nancy Pelosi. Susan Wild is essentially Nancy Pelosi. They're not moderates unless we've redefined what moderate is. Big government, open borders, no cash bails, men in sports, and violent crime is not the record of a moderate. And Bob Casey, who thought, Don, we would live to a point where John Fetterman is the outspoken leader and voice of common sense among our 2 senators. Bob Casey is not even as courageous or as moderate as John Fetterman. He's failed the test.
Absolutely. Thank you, Guy. I like that Fetterman reference. Thank you, Guy. Thanks very much. Dan, if I had $1 for everybody, it says every time you say now, Fetterman was at Harvard, his school, took off his, it was a graduation thing, took something off to say how he's not on board with them when it comes to Israel and the like. Are we allowed to say that? Or do you say, oh, it's all a trap? John Fetterman is setting a big trap here. He's still a liberal guy. He still shouldn't have been in there. But it is remarkable, his position versus a Casey. All right, I'm coming to your calls coming up, and I've been waiting for a nice spot today. I have an open letter from the president of McDonald's USA that's beautifully written. I wish, though, he would take on Joe Biden. He's tired of McDonald's being accused as Bob Casey does, of corporate greed. Long letter, sets it straight. Why is McDonald's more costly than it's ever been? And he tells you the reasons why. He doesn't say, hey, well, I can skip all this letter and just say it's Joe Biden. He did it. And he did. He's the reason. But are people going to buy it? They're going to say, oh, no, McDonald's, fat cats. They're just doing it. They're taking advantage of this now. They're really the ones, not Joe Biden, that's driving up these prices. All that straight ahead. Talk Radio 1210.
It's the Saturday Night Free-for-All. Starting at 7 p.m., Talk Radio 1210 WPHT is live and local with Michael Pelka from 7 to 10 p.m.
Just look what they're doing to Robert Kennedy. They got his family to go against him in Philadelphia. And I have to say this, that family looks like there's a whole lot of problems there. I know they're trying to play off on the Camelot magic of JFK.
It's definitely been bred out of the family. The magic, I think, is gone, but that's just me.
The Saturday Night Free-for-All. Listen this weekend. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
I want to tell you about my friend, my dentist, and the master of dental implants, Dr. Mike Veneria at Veneria Dental. You know, we're approaching special occasion season, graduations, showers, weddings. If you're getting ready for a special event, don't forget your smile, because it's going to be in all the pictures. Get your smile special occasion ready by making an appointment with Dr. Mike today. I've been telling you about Dr. Mike for years. My entire family goes to Dr. Veneria because the level of care and commitment to dental excellence that Dr. Mike and his staff delivers to every patient is unmatched. He's been delivering results that surpass expectations, and that has made him a top dentist in New Jersey for 10 consecutive years. So if you've been on the fence about getting that dental procedure done, give Dr. Veneria a call. I promise you won't be disappointed. With 2 locations to serve you in Cinnaminson and Woodbury, schedule your free implant consultation today for your perfect smile. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
Crash Proof Retirement records all financial meetings. All promises made in recorded financial meetings become legally binding between Crash Proof Retirement and the investing client. Crash Proof Retirement provides all of their clients with a certificate of authenticity, further documenting that recording financial meetings brings fiduciary responsibility to the highest level.
I'm Jack Gunning from Bluebell, Pennsylvania. I don't know whether anybody can offer you the security that Crash Proof Retirement does. I have a certificate that tells me they're a fiduciary. Everything is recorded and they have your best interest at heart. That certificate is 100% documentation that you know what they're saying is 100% correct. Other companies don't have this guarantee. This certificate means an awful lot for me, and it should mean an awful lot for you.
Certify your retirement future. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on June 11th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Free speech lives here on the air and on the Odyssey app. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
All right, this is unprecedented. A letter from, what is his name here? Joe Erlinger, president of McDonald's USA. He begins to our U.S. fans. He talks about fans of fast food. I don't know, Joe. That might be a little bit much. Are people fans of fast food, or are they more... Well, Dan's a connoisseur. I guess that's
I am quite the connoisseur
or
of fast food.
Is it low cost? I still remember the excitement I felt as a kid when my parents turned into a McDonald's. I think back to that almost every day of my job running McDonald's USA and to my mom's love of McNuggets. He says Americans across the country are making tough calls about where to spend their hard-earned money. Recently, we've seen viral social posts and poorly sourced reports that McDonald's has raised prices beyond inflationary rates. This is inaccurate. And for a brand that proudly serves nearly 90% of the U.S. population every year, we feel a responsibility to make sure the real facts are available. I can tell you it frustrates and worries me and many of our franchisees when I hear about an $18 Big Mac meal being sold, even if it was at one location in the U.S. out of more than 13,700. Dan, as big as the U.S. is, that's still a lot of McDonald's. 13,700.
It's $9.99 for a Big Mac meal on Grace Ferry. I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay. The average price of a Big Mac in the U.S. was $4.39 in 2019. Despite a global pandemic and historic rises in supply chain costs, wages, and other inflationary pressures, the average cost is now $5.29. That's an increase of 21%.
$5.89 in Philly.
Okay. He is setting that at the Biden rate. You know, this has all happened during Biden's time. It is around 21%. They go on to talk about here, too, all these challenges. And he says, Dan, that 95% of the franchisees set the cost, set the price. That's why they're different in different places. Now, that's directly from his letter. And then he goes through a whole chart of fact and myth. But you know what this is? It's Larry Krasner syndrome. The guy identifies the problem, inflation, and then he doesn't point to anything other than these vague things that are out there. He says the inflationary rate. Well, where's that 20% rate coming from? It's from the time that Biden's been in office. That's where it's coming from.
I mean, I can offer this because it's his model of business, and I think the inflationary rate in this case might be directly tied to heightened minimum wage, and I'll explain.
Well, true, yeah.
Because Chili's, they offer something called the $10.99 3 for me, and what that is, it's a burger, fries, and I think an appetizer for $10.99. You can go pick it up, they'll bring it out to your car, and meanwhile, you're looking at a Big Mac meal for a Big Mac fries for $9.99. So for an extra $1, you can get what's... I got to argue Chili's is a higher quality burger than McDonald's, right? And I wonder why that is. And I look at Chili's, and their model is largely tip-based, right? You have servers making under minimum wage but earning tips, and that's where they're being paid. And then meanwhile, you have McDonald's where they're having to meet $15, $20 minimum wages for even their cashiers.
I didn't know. Now, Chili's people get tips?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. See,
no, like servers. A lot of their staff. I mean, you're talking servers, the to-go people, hosts are part of the tip share, but hosts, I think hosts and kitchen staff do make minimum wage. But it's like they're servers and all. And I think McDonald's, they have to pay their front-end staff more than places like Chili's or these sit-down places do because they earn tips with the sit-down crew.
Okay, yeah. So that's an inflationary type. Yeah, minimum wage going up. Excessively in places like California, I think, and New Jersey, there's pressure to do that. And the consumer is the one that's going to end up paying for a lot of that. Ro went to Five Guys the other day. Now, they don't have tipping as far as, well, I'm not sure. I mean, I've been into Five Guys with her a few times. It was small hamburger, kid-size hamburger, kids' fries, and a kid's drink. That's Ro.
Why?
And she
Come on, Ro. You know you can eat the whole burger.
She hands the guy a $20. And he gives her back $5, and she goes, well, I gave you a $20, meaning she thought maybe it was a 10 or something.
Yeah, we're talking a kid's meal.
Yeah, $15 for a kid's meal. Now, Five Guys is very good. I mean, I've had their fries.
Great. I love
Five
Guys fries, too.
So who's responsible? Well, this guy is taking the right tactic here, addressing this. But then in the end, he's not going to say, well, it's government spending. That's what drove it.
You put the malt vinegar on your fries that they have at Five Guys? Why don't more places offer that? It's fantastic. You ever try it? No, try it for real. They offer malt vinegar. It's next to the ketchup there. You
I don't
Swirl it
fool
with the
around with
ketchup.
anything on the fries. They're good by themselves.
Really?
So
No ketchup?
Don't fool. No, nothing.
Oh,
God,
man.
you're messing up the taste of the fries.
Hey, Tony on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Please go like, subscribe, comment, join the discussion. Says, hey, Don Geronimo, what haircut is that? You know that's a hairpiece you're wearing.
What is it with the hair?
I don't know. Like, it
All of a
looks
sudden.
your hair looks great, and it's 100. I mean, I'll go tug it if you need me to. It's 100% natural. It's a beautiful head of hair there.
All right, let's hope they Dan.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT.
Wait a minute. Let's hope we don't get caught like Trump falsifying business expenses from 1210. That the toupee is under show prep. That's what it's under. You know.
Don, you're a classy guy.
Yeah, Greg put it under show prep, $5,000. It's really the toupee. How's that, Don Geronimo?
Oh man.
Still with the hair. Just because they want to have the hair, they have to say it's fake. It's just cut.
It's jealousy, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and it gets messed up. You know how I hate wearing I would never wear a hat, first
No.
of all, of course. But I hate wearing this because it messes with it. Yeah,
I do. They do have really good hair pieces today, though. So
yeah, that's true.
They do. But
all right.
Yours isn't one. And
Thank you.
I have great legs, though. Just remember. That's
all
what
right.
my wife says, at least.
Just come to our Dom's Day event at Mulligan's. And
Minnie says, Dan, sick to tugging your own hair, dude.
Yeah. All right. It's 855-839-1210. Glad to see the president of McDonald's addressing it in this manner. Does he want to be more specific, though? And have we reached a point? See, I'm not believing the American public is going to be with Bob Casey and Joe Biden going after Snickers and McDonald's. I think they know where this comes from. How would you not at this point? But you just heard Guy Shiraki. That was beautiful what he said, the indictment of the media. Thank God for talk radio. People in America say, oh, they're going to Philadelphia. They're trying to get the black vote. It was a big story. Everybody in the world covering it. And they think they're going to a college. And they're talking to kids in kindergarten, first, second, third grade. Yeah, they have 8th graders and 12th. We know all that. But a lot of young kids there. And they're screaming at them that America hates them, essentially, wants to get rid of black studies. And it's the ultimate choice school to get in there. It's an oasis. It looks like a college. It's grandiose. It's unbelievable if you've ever been there. And I was going to invite on David Hardy. I'm glad I didn't, Dan. They went to the city of Philadelphia and said, we want to use Girard College. Why? They want to use a fake place. They want to pack it with black people because Joe Biden can't. And they couldn't even do that. So what did they do? They did tight shots that make it looks like there's a crowd there. There's probably 500, 600 people, including the kids.
It was very deceiving. I thought there was much more than there actually was.
Yeah, when you look at the wide shot from the New York Post, and they made the media thing huge, because there was a good bit of media, but they doubled or tripled in size with cables. Well, we can't go in there. That's why there was no crowd.
How do you not fill a gym like that?
With president and vice president.
Right.
In the middle of the campaign. And all those sycophants in the Democrat Party. You think the word, how about the unions? Don't you think they would bring those guys out? Apparently not.
You think Trump could fill the Leah course?
Yes. If he did a rally here in Philadelphia, first of all, it's impossible to do given what would happen, the pitch battle and all. But yes, he could fill that. People would go.
Yeah.
All right, 855-839-1210. I'm coming to your calls. Dan tells me he's got an unbelievable Dan Time with Dom, so be ready, particularly on YouTube. How many thumbs up will you give this today? We're starting to rate the Dan Time with Dom. Alan Dershowitz at 2 o'clock. Does he really believe Judge Marchand? There's a realistic chance if there's a holdout or two, he could tag in. He's got 6 alternate jurors. He could tag them in and then tag Trump. The media is just giving the vibe. I don't know why that we're going to get a verdict today. I'm not in that camp. I think we're a good bit away from a verdict today. I'd be very surprised. Now, tomorrow, getaway day for the weekend, something could happen. All right, the NBA playoffs have tipped off, but it's not too late to get in on the action with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, because right now, new customers, you get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to use on same-game parlays, live bets, championship futures, and a lot more. And no better place to bet all the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook. Just go to FanDuel.com/Dom, D-O-M, to get started. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT, and FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of the NBA. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, first online real money wager only, $10 first deposit required, bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. I am a dad, as you know, 3 amazing kids. And as a dad, I can tell you what Dad wants this Father's Day. He doesn't want a tie. We don't want sweaters. We don't want golf shirts. We want steaks, baby. That's what our dads want. That's what I want. Steaks from Omaha Steaks. A world-class dad deserves a world-class steak. And this Father's Day, the experts at omahasteaks.com have made it so easy for you. omahasteaks.com. Use my name, Zioli, at checkout for an additional discount when you shop gourmet gift packages for Father's Day. With Omaha Steaks, the possibilities are endless. I'm talking about endless flavor, endless variety, endless value. Truly the best of the best. Better than any of those low-energy steaks you can get in the grocery store. Use my name, Zioli, for exclusive savings at checkout. So go to omahasteaks.com, put in my name, Zioli, Z-E-O-L-I, because if there's one thing Omaha Steaks knows, it's that dads want steak. Take it from this dad, omahasteaks.com, promo code Zioli.
Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds guaranteed with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into their radio show Sundays at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we have absolutely incredible offers and a plethora of both new and certified Volvos from which to choose. We are eager to offer amazingly competitive prices, plus an additional $1,000 Costco discount on all new Cherry Hill Volvos. I am Judith Krupnick, president of Cherry Hill Volvo. Our last new 2023 XC90 T8 is available for purchase, and the savings is huge. Save $12,867 off of the suggested retail.
Have you been thinking about doing a Roth conversion, but the upfront taxes are holding you back? Welcome to Rothright. We can show you how to significantly reduce taxes on a conversion, potentially saving hundreds of thousands, even millions in taxes over your lifetime. A Roth conversion will give you tax-free income, eliminate required minimum distributions, and leave a tax-free estate to your heirs. Sign up for a free educational seminar now. Call 855-415-ROTH. That's 855-415-ROTH. Rothright is not a financial advisory firm. Consult with a tax professional before making any financial decisions.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
A pleasant air mass has returned to the Delaware Valley. We'll have a mixture of sun and clouds today. High temperature up around 76. For tonight, a cool night, becoming mostly clear with a low 56. And for Friday, another pleasant day, mostly sunny with a high 78.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
Only 12:30, but I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
All right, Dom Giordano show. You know, over the years, I really liked the idea of this down the shore and that expression, the columnist Dan that appears every Thursday, Amy Rosenberg. But then last year, Ms. Rosenberg started on the whales thing. You know, like we're knuckle draggers, and she had some ship captain who had a PhD lecture on that in the column. Today, Dan, the Down the Shore column asks people if they're sick and tired of political flags at the beach. Now, here's the issue. The only one that I know of, Dan, that's been popular enough to have flags on boats and at the beach is Donald J. Trump. I don't remember any other politician when all this stuff started having that kind of popularity.
Well,
and it irks these people.
I'm a politician, but I disagree on politics.
Right.
Like a LGBT flag.
Yeah, but a politician, I mean, a straight-up politician, it's everywhere. So she interviews people. Here's one, Joanne Pestrini. If you think windmills will ruin your view, imagine political flags. Donna Cassidy, political flags can be extremely divisive. Sharon Butt, we as a family always had an American flag, but when you're on holiday, relax and leave the politics at home. Marianne Johnson Pozell.
What was her name? I'm sorry.
Sharon Butt, yes.
Okay, sorry,
I'm all in favor of the First Amendment, but seeing political flags at the beach raises my blood pressure, fuels divisiveness, which is the opposite of what the shore is all about. The only flag that's political, they wouldn't say that about the LGBT. They wouldn't dare. Or some other, flag that's there. It's the one guy. That's what this is centered on.
Yeah, you're right.
Suzanne Floof. Nobody whose last name is Alito should fly flags on or near the beach unless a certain Alito finds an ethical bone in his body that would result in his recusal from cases involving the January 6, 2021 insurrection.
It's quite the crew, Mrs. Floof and Mrs. Butt.
Yeah. So, Amy, here's what I charge you with. You're taking a nice thing, all these events, all the stuff at the shore. The first time we had her on, Dan, I remember it was about these obnoxious, to me, putting up a giant tent that's a half block long at the beach. Yeah. If you're going to the beach, just let the sun hit you. Stop it already, okay? And we had her on, and we talked about it. I thought it was a clever idea.
Can't avoid the sun on the beach.
Down the shore. But the last 2 years, this is an example. What are all these people talking about? They don't like these Trump flags. That's exactly what it's about. There are not a lot. Dan, I never saw an LGBTQ flag, for example, to your point, at the beach. I don't know if you've seen them. I've seen.
Well, you haven't vacationed in Maine, have you?
Well, that's true. maybe Rehoboth, but I have not seen. I mean, I see the Villanova flag. I see a Phillies flag.
You know what I see the most, and
what?
It's probably political in certain circles that you ask, is the American flag.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So is that offensive?
But imagine the one woman, the first one. If you think windmills will ruin your view, imagine political flags. Maybe if a dead whale washes up on shore, Joanne, you might have a different thought on that. You know what I mean? They don't get either one of them. They don't want to see the Trump flags. They're tired of it. This is the first. There are 3 Trump stores in Wildwood when we were down there that were started. And the cash register is ringing all day long. How could Wildwood support 3 Trump stores? It's not that big. And until these 3 months, there's not that many people going there. All right, so, that's in the Inquirer. Can there be any space in the Inquirer where you don't take shots at Trump? And the answer is no. It's supposed to be a fun thing. So if people on their vacation want to put up flags of whatever sort, that's their fun. That's the thing, Dan, I don't think they understand. It's not just political with the Trump thing. You know what it is. It's a lifestyle. When people came to Mulligan's, how many of them did not even go over to hear Trump speak at the rally? They stayed there and bonded together. That's what it was about. Got to be 200 people staying in there. They went to all that trouble, but they didn't go to the rally. They may have watched some of it there, but they were with friends.
Look, I get the point here because I'm kind of annoyed because it's definitely one-sided double standard that you're seeing here, but I'm kind of on the side that it's kind of tacky to have a political flag. I always say, I think politics are fine in discussion and religion's fine in discussion, but when you're knocking on my doorstep, when you're knocking on my door to try to, push your beliefs, that's when I kind of have a problem. And I'm going to the beach. I equate this with celebrities speaking out on politics. I don't care what your thoughts are on politics. I want to see you act. When I'm at the beach, I don't care what this, the family who I've never met before, what their political beliefs are. I just want to look at the ocean and enjoy the weather.
Well, I don't know if they're blocking the ocean.
I think it's tacky in person.
Oh, okay. All right.
Come at me.
All right. There we go.
I wouldn't do it myself. I'm not going to fly a Trump flag as much as I like the guy.
Well, we got an hour and 17 minutes for
on the beach, that is. On the beach. Yes.
I think
if I had a pickup truck, I'd fly it off the back of that first.
Okay, yeah. I think it's a lifestyle. I think it's more than just a politics over this. Which leads me, before Dan Time with Dom, to ask, what are the flags going to say? What's going to be sold at the Trump store if, sadly, Trump is convicted? I bet they already have in the back room, and they're going to roll out a whole I bet there's 20 items that will be on sale at the Trump store in Ben Salem tomorrow. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
Minnie on YouTube.com/@12WPHT says, Dan, you'll complain about these political flags, yet you'll proudly fly your Taylor Swift flag.
All right, it's a vaunted, a much-awaited Dan Time with Dom next. Then Alan Dershowitz at 2 o'clock. Feel free on YouTube and social media to rate 1 to 10 this next Dan Time, 855-839-1210.
You're tearing me apart.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-721-4643. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-721-4643 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-721-4643. 800-721-4643. 800-721-4643.
I joke around and with my wife and call it my bionic knee.
But before Ernest became a patient with QC Kinetics, it was a different story.
I'd go to bed with my knee throbbing, heat, ice. I would get up in the middle of the night to get a drink or something, and I would just be hobbling.
He wasn't able to play on his rec basketball team or work in the yard, but QC Kinetics regenerative treatments turned around the situation without surgery or downtime, using Ernest's own healing properties to help restore his aching knee, now known as Ernest's bionic knee.
I am really happy because I am playing the game that I love so much, and I'm playing with my granddaughter, and I'm gardening, and I'm on my knees, and I'm jumping up. I have a 200-pound dog, and I'm playing with my dog.
Now Ernest is living his best life, thanks to QC Kinetics, and so can you. Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-688-6641. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
It's Dan time
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says.
with Dom.
That's right. It's that time of the afternoon. Producer Dan takes over the Dom Giordano program for some Dan time with Dom. And Dom, I mentioned Taylor Swift going into break. My wife being a huge Swiftie, me not so much and rolling my eyes. But Dom, she is facing a lot of criticism in the great country of Scotland because she's coming to Edinburgh. And allegedly, there's a lot of homeless people sheltered in hotel rooms that are now being moved out, forced out of the town to make room for Swifties who want to come in and see the concert. Dom, thoughts?
Well, that's interesting because here, if you remember, we wouldn't move the homeless or the legal immigrants really out of those rooms, Dan, for veterans when they were coming to see
That's right.
Army, Navy. I think it was in Chicago.
So apparently we prioritize Swifties over veterans, huh?
Yes, and over the homeless. Shocking. By the way, update from the jury. David Axelrod reporting that juror number 6 asked for an Alka-Seltzer. What do we make of that?
Oh, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Some stomach issues, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Getting nerves? You think it's nervousness?
Yeah,
Or-
nervousness.
yeah?
I'm sure that's good. If they're nervous, that means there's some conflict going on.
You mentioned a Mrs. Butt in the Amy Rosenberg story
Yes.
about the flags, and we missed this last week, Dom, but Wheel of Fortune, there was quite the moment that happened if you take a listen.
Tavares, right in the butt?
What?
No.
No.
Blake.
This is the best.
Yeah, that's it.
A little off there. And Dom, while we're on the little off there, let's talk about 2024. And back in 2020, 2021, during the pandemic, we had a lot of these Zoom instances with a lawyer who thought he was a cat for a second because he came onto the Zoom and was concerned that he was appearing as a cat. But Dom, here we have a gentleman who's being tried for a suspended license, Dom, and he's on his Zoom call for this court appearance, and he shows up while driving. Take a listen.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
All right. What are we doing?
Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting an adjournment in this matter, up possibly 2 to 4 weeks if the court would allow.
Okay. So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving, and he didn't have a license.
Oh.
Is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at
Yes.
his record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended, and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Dom, what is going on in
The attorney,
2024?
that is correct, Your Honor.
What do you think's more of a joke, this trial or the one going on in New York with the hush money?
That's a tough call. I still have to go with this. Yeah. Well, Michael Cohen. Imagine Michael Cohen's the one driving without a license. What are you going to do about it? What do you make of it?
So, Dom, we're talking today 3 named individuals, famous individuals, and there's a lot about why these serial killers, these assassins, are used by 3 names. And a lot online talks about how media, especially in that time, to differentiate, they would use the middle names just so, a Lee Oswald's not messed around with. But actually, there is a story behind a couple of these 3 names, particularly Lee Harvey Oswald. He appeared on a local Louisiana television show, Conversation Carte Blanche, in August 1963, supporting Fidel Castro, and Bill Slatter introduced the guy as Lee Harvey Oswald. Because of that, media, they went back and saw that Lee Harvey Oswald is Lee Harvey Oswald. John Wilkes Booth, because he was an actor, playbills would list him as John Wilkes Booth or J. Wilkes Booth. And not all actors of the period used 3 names. His father and brother, though, did. And I want to bring this up, Dom. Do you know his father and brother's name by chance?
Booths. No, I did not. I know about where the expression your name is going to be Mudd comes from. The doctor, Harvey Mudd, who operated on Booth to try to help him when he was injured. But the Booth family.
Junius Brutus Booth, Sr. and Jr., the lesser famous Booth. And then Edwin Booth, doesn't use the middle name, is the more famous brother than John Wilkes Booth, the better actor. But Junius Brutus, we should bring back the name Junius. You don't know many Juniuses, do you?
I don't know too many Brutuses. I kind of like Brutus.
James Garfield's tried assassin, Charles Julius Gautier. He would use his middle name in some settings, but not others, so did newspapers. James Earl Ray, Dom. Publicly, his friends would refer to him as J. Ray, or James Ray, but as the conviction of the murder of Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968, he would write letters, and in his writings, he would distinguish himself from his father, James Gerald Ray, by calling himself James Earl Ray, and that's why we call him commonly by the three names. But one example of an identity to protect others with a very common name, Mark Chapman's. A lot of Mark Chapman's out there, and that's why you have Mark David Chapman. But some interesting stories about these three names, Dom.
Nice stuff. All right, let's get that rating going on YouTube and otherwise. How was Dan Time with Dom today?
A lot of Taylor Swift, so it's probably going to be low, huh?
Yeah, no, it might be okay. But that, after your flag commentary, I don't know. That may have sunk you a little bit. Okay, Alan Dershowitz is always a great guest. Coming up, though, last night, he said he speculated that Judge Marchand, based upon what he's seen in court, is the type of guy that if we have one juror who's a holdout, and that juror says, look, I've been here X number of hours, I've sat through all this testimony, it's clear to me this 444 stuff, where four people can take one element of a crime, it's a different crime, and we're all unanimous. That's ridiculous. I can't convict this guy. Reasonable doubt. He could tag him out and put in an alternate juror. Now think about that. That happens, but picture in a case like this. Dershowitz says he kept 6 alternate jurors for anything that might happen here. Can you imagine? And if we get by today and we get into Friday, stuff like this will be talked about a lot more. We're now just at about 9 hours of deliberation. If the jury's just playing games and they're thinking, how long do we have to show that we're deliberating, but we know what it is, then it could be tonight or early tomorrow. If it goes past that, there is some conflict in the jury room. And that conflict could play out to coming down to 1 or 2 jurors. All right, Alan Dershowitz next. Dom's Money Melody. We'll take your calls. People with 3-word names here on Talk Radio 1210.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is Bill Hoffman, president of Hoffman's Exterminating. We've been protecting Delaware Valley homes and businesses from pests for 34 years, all while supporting our local community. We also support those who protect us, our veterans. Robert Rutherford, our Director of People and Culture, served 10 years in the U.S. Marine Corps. We at Hoffman's have made a commitment to hire veterans. Our veterans are valued, and the skills they learned in the military are transferable. Join the Hoffman's family and visit us at hoffmansexterminating.com.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Have you questioned your doctor about symptoms like low energy, digestive issues, brain fog, joint pain, just not feeling right, just something is off, and you're only left settling for unanswered questions, or worse, being told it's just because you're getting older? You don't have to settle for unanswered questions any longer. With Younger Me MD's exclusive VIP membership program, aging doesn't have to make you feel older. Their proven 3-step process and functional medicine approach helps you discover the underlying causes of your issues. As a member, you get access to high-level personalized treatment plans, as well as discounts on treatments and supplements. If you're ready to live the life you deserve, it's time to learn about Younger Me MD's VIP membership program. Call 445-266-4024. 445-266-4024. That's 445-266-4024. And schedule your consultation with Younger Me MD.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Dom Giordano Show, Dom's Money Melody coming up. We'll take your calls today, the day they burned Joan of Arc at the stake. So what do we think of? Well, people with 3-word names, not 4. Somebody called in, and I don't know how Dana got up on the board, Gina Loa Brigida. The last name was Loa Brigida. It's one of my favorite all-time names, the last name of Loa Brigida.
But it's 2.
And Gina Loa Brigida, if you can imagine, came to Philadelphia, was honored by City Council. Picture City Council with Gina Loa Brigida. Oh, my God. Picture Jim Kenney in the office handing her a Liberty Bell or something. Oh, my God. All right. Alan Dershowitz had a bit of an emergency. He's going to be with us around 2:30-ish today. I'll play for you, though, what Professor Dershowitz said last night, Dan. I'm not sure if this was on Fox. I'm looking
No, this
through.
is on his personal podcast called The Durr Show, which is a fantastic name for a podcast.
Okay, I didn't know that The Durr Show, I know he's doing a tremendous amount of media. I wonder if Larry David will be a guest on there. Here's what he said on The Durr Show about Judge Merchan. Now, he's looking at all the things you could appeal here. He was in the courtroom. He'll explain that. But what if there's a holdout juror who just says, look, I've seen everything I need here. We've deliberated forever on this. You cannot tell me that it's a unanimous decision if 4 jurors say there's one underlying crime, another 4 say something else, and then a third group of 4 say something else. That doesn't work for me. No, that doesn't work. Here's what he said Merchan is capable of doing because of observing him in the courtroom.
And I admit this is highly, highly speculative, but I know a case on this, so that I'm not making it up. The judge said he's not going to dismiss the alternate jurors until there's an absolute verdict. One possible reason for that, and again, I want to emphasize that I'm speculating. One possible reason for this might be following, and it's quite cynical. Let's assume that the jurors come back and say, "Sorry, we're deadlocked. We have one juror who just won't give in. There are 11 of us who think he's guilty." By the way, the jurors don't say what they think. They just say there's a deadlock. But if they come back that way, the inference will be that the jury is locked 11-1 in favor of conviction. So the judge hears from the jurors, and the judge hears that they're 11-1. And then the judge says, well, is that other juror, the 12th juror, is he negotiating? Is he involved in the conversations? And the foreman of the jury says, no, he's refusing. He's sitting there with his arms folded saying, guy's innocent. Sorry, guy's innocent. I'm not going to listen to you. The guy's innocent. There's no case here. The guy's innocent. If I were on the jury, that's what I'd be doing. And then the judge has the power, rarely exercised, but he has the power. I've seen it done to say, well, if this juror won't deliberate, then he's violating his oath. And I'm going to substitute one of the alternate jurors for that juror, and then immediately they come back with a 12-0 verdict of conviction. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm not saying that's even in the judge's mind. But knowing this judge and seeing him in actions, particularly having seen him in action the day I was in the court when they cleared everybody, but I was allowed to stay. Why, I still don't know. And I saw the real Judge Merchan. That's not beyond the realm of possibility. So anything's possible. This judge wants Donald Trump convicted.
That's exactly right. Now, the probability of something like this going on, would they not realize? But you know what this is about. It's not about sending Trump to prison, in some fantasies that people say. It's a pure political fact. They want to hang on him the title convicted criminal, convicted felon. They want to be able to put that out there and run with that for a while. They want to change the momentum a little bit. Maybe that will get them to the debate if it happens around this. And then maybe in the debate, that gives them some angles of attack with this. The most telling thing out there that I think is rock solid is that a lot of people are not paying attention to the back and forth on this trial. You probably know that. Talk radio listeners, people that are really engaged in what's going to happen in the future of the country, they are. But a lot of people are not. So if coming out of this, they hear convicted, and, the people that don't really have an opinion on Trump are far and few between, to an extreme one way or the other, they're just going to think he was convicted around this. And sure, he can appeal. And I know Mark Levin is brilliantly laid out. It can go to the Supreme Court pretty quickly. Can you imagine? Alito writes the opinion, Dan. We're overturning this in various grounds pretty quickly, say within a week. Then he puts up some more flags, or his wife does. Oh, man. The wife has to be a pistol, the stuff going on here, given his position. So Alan Dershowitz will be with us to break that down at around 2:30. But I still stick in the camp that says there is going to be a hung jury here ultimately. But you understand the pressure. Dershowitz said it at the end. They just want to convict Trump. It's a political act. Whatever he suffers, doesn't suffer and all, that's immaterial. They know, at least in any way, shape, or form that I can see, they can't stop Trump from campaigning in the sense of still running for president and being elected. This would not knock him out of the box under any interpretation that you find. So the idea that Merchan, and you heard Dershowitz said, I actually saw him when people were out of the room, what he's really all about. And I tell you, this is a possibility. Now, would any number of other judges do that in a case like this? Given the repercussion of that, you jump into the ring, you put this other alternate jury in there. How are we supposed to accept that? I mean, already, people see this as just ridiculous right from the beginning. It becomes more ridiculous every day. And if you had people, the argument's going to be, well, they just want Trump to be in there and you're not going to convince them of anything. Oh, well, that's the American jury system. You have a right to do that. You have a duty as a juror, but you also have constitutional rights in this. And if the person feels they've heard enough here, and it's been debated back and forth enough times, the judge can do an Allen charge in which he says that the jury should take a long look at what the majority of people, and it could be an overwhelming majority of people, believe in this, and take that into account. If that doesn't work, tagging in, there are 6 alternate jurors here, tagging in somebody and then say a couple of hours later, they all come back, 12-0, Trump's guilty of a lot of crimes. You are just asking, but the Biden people are desperate to turn the thing around. Biden will be on within a half hour then from the White House saying it's not political. That's why he's doing it at the White House. That's the only goal here. And I've been honest with you. I'm not one of these guys telling you if Trump has that title on him, it's not going to matter with some of these voters in the suburbs where they're looking for this excuse to say, I just can't do this. That's the unknowable. It's not going to be a vast number of people, though. There are going to be people more intensely fired up. Dan, I'd like to count the flags on the beach, so to speak, the day after this. And I'd love to know what the Trump stores already have printed up. If he wins, I'm sure there are shirts and other trinkets. I mean, Roe even bought 3 of those at the Trump store we went to when we were down there that day.
Wow.
3 of the Trump stores that had the talking head thing, and Trump says a phrase. She couldn't resist them.
Is she distributing them as gifts?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, there are certain people she thinks were like, yeah. And the person in front of us took a giant garbage bag that they didn't have a lot of bags, and they're throwing stuff into that. It must have been 15 or 20 items.
Shoplifting?
No. Paying for it. I'm just saying, it was a brisk market. Everybody went into this place. It was in a home right there on Jersey Avenue. I think there are 3 of them, we're told, already in Wildwood for the summer. Yeah, it is stunning to me.
Where's the Biden store?
Yeah, where's the Biden store? Tell me what the Biden flag would look like. You know, what would the Biden flag?
A pair of aviators?
Yeah, the pair of aviators, I'm sure there would be. Yeah. Hunter Biden flags have a better sell rate. All right. So
when you have the kind of imagery he's looking at.
Well, next week, that's right. His trial starts next week. So it's 855-839-1210. You get on board. Let's go to Dom's.
It's Dom.
I thought you were taking a caller.
Money Melody.
All right, today we're playing for a digital movie code to see The Land of Saints and Sinners. Liam Neeson plays a retired hitman, Finbar Murphy.
Finbar.
Who finds peace in a quiet Irish town until the terrorists force him back into action. From Goldwyn Films and Sony Pictures Home Entertainment, available to buy or rent on digital right now, rated R. All right, Dan, what's the backstory?
Dom, today's side topic, and I'm getting, I guess, a little predictable because people on YouTube are already trying to figure out who are some three-worded named musicians. And, yep, that's where I'm going today, is a 3-worded named musician with a very distinct style singing a very famous song, covering it, Dom. That's all I'm going to give because I think it's so distinct it might be kind of easy. But we want to know who it is today covering the song, Dom. Take a listen.
Mary had a little lamb. His fleece was white as snow, yeah. Everywhere the child went, you know the lamb was sure to go, yeah. He followed her to school one day.
Digging it.
Interesting interpretation. Not bad. Yesterday it was sort of a playoff, or the day before it, too. So hit us with that. And you are off. Well, we'll send you the digital movie. 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. Dershowitz around 2:30. Want you to hear it from him. Could that actually happen? Anything could happen in this. Literally, any kind of surprise could happen with this judge and his instructions. 855-839-1210.
Kale & Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
John, good morning. What movie did we just play for you, sir?
Rocky III, The Eye of the Tiger.
By the way, John, what's your favorite Rocky movie of all time? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Rocky V with Tommy Gunn.
That might be one of the worst films of all time.
I thought my controversial take was Rocky IV.
First Rocky. It's
right. Dawn, you're in the majority, I think. I think most people do believe the first is the best.
Yeah, I'm with you, Nick. It goes in descending order. Is that correct? 4, 3, 2, 1? Yeah.
Pretty close to that, yeah.
Start your day with Kale & Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Tom Herr, and this is Susan Herr, Norvon, Pennsylvania.
Being with Crash Proof is like being in a big family. We know there's a lot of other people out there just like us, and everyone's very happy.
Yeah, they're not sad.
They're not sad. I mean, we come in and we know our money's safe, and it's continuing to grow.
The Crash Proof system is fighting inflation for us. When prices do go up, we still have income coming in. And with the Crash Proof system, we made just under 7%. Even though we're using money. We're still making more money, and at the end, we have more money than we started with.
We have those resources to make our life in retirement much more comfortable.
And we can sleep at night.
Yes, definitely.
Only Crash-Proof Retirement can guarantee peace of mind in a legally binding, recorded financial meeting. Schedule an appointment or register for the next Crash-Proof Retirement educational event at the William Penn Inn on Tuesday, June 11th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey, this is Ray Didinger. I had the opportunity to open the new Joe Conklin show. It was sensational. It includes all the impressions, Iverson, Merrill, and Mike Barkley. They brought in this whole musical component with a full orchestra. It's really good. His daughter Casey's part of it. His brother's part of it. They can rock it, boy. So you got all the music, plus you got all the comedy. It's a great night.
That's Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra at Wildwood Catholic High School on June 29th and the Ocean City Music Pier on July 13th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com! Did you know you can stream Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app? Just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio to hear the voices you trust. Brian Kilmeade.
Why are we so scared of Iran thinking that we're at war with them?
Guy Benson.
Get the bleep out of here. It's disgusting.
Jimmy Fallon.
Then this administration rolled into town with a checkbook.
Are all on the free Odyssey app. From the news and talk to keep you informed and up to date during election season. Listen to Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
It's Dom Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money. That's exactly right. Every day around 2:12, 2:13, we hit you with something from Dan's creative mind. Let's hear the clue today and tell us who's covering this famous song.
Mary had a little lamb. White as snow, yeah. Everywhere the child went, you know the lamb was sure to go, yeah.
All right, let's try John in Springfield. Hey, John, who's covering that song?
That is Mr. Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Nicely played, John. Enjoy the film. We'll send that off to you. Dan, a little bit more of the backstory?
Yeah, just a 3-word name there, Stevie Ray Vaughan, that I thought was we could honor. Why not? Died in a horrible, horrible helicopter crash where a pilot flew into the side of a ski mountain. No foul play involved, just a sad tragedy. But a great, great blues musician. And Dom, I got to tell you, when I'm at home making dinner, a lot of times I say to Alexa, play some Stevie Ray Vaughan radio, and I love his sound. So, great job.
Very good. Very good. All right, we'll do it again tomorrow for a nice prize again. A couple of things. Ocean City, as we hear it, at 4 o'clock today, I think on the Music Pier, they're holding a news conference. I think it's at least the mayor of Ocean City, and I think it's one of the commissioners, Lenny Desiderio, that we had on, and somebody else. And they're going to unveil what their plan is to deal with what we saw happened over the last weekend, okay? And I have to tell you, Ocean City seemed to be fairly effective, what they've done the last 2 summers. But I think it's reached a level now that's even beyond that. And I happen to see this Benevolent Association of Cops start to weigh in. It bothers me because several of these benevolent associations of cops or unions, call them what you will, over the years have endorsed people like Phil Murphy. If you go around endorsing any of these progressives, and Phil Murphy is goofy, but he is, how in the world should we listen to you then when cops are under fire? You're the ones that helped to put them in office. If you're afraid that you can't endorse, say, Jack Ciattarelli, who's running for governor this time, versus whomever the Democrat is that comes out of this in Jersey, will be a progressive on the Democrat side, then just stay out of the endorsement. But if you endorse these Democrats, particularly in a place like Jersey, oh, well, this is where they're going to go. This is what they're about. Now, the contention of Murphy is they tightened up police authority again, which they did not. So what is it, as you head to the Jersey Shore, your thoughts on what you want them to do across the Jersey Shore? Most people listening now at some point this summer are going to go there, particularly if you have grandkids that are young or you go on the boardwalk with kids that are 3, 4, 5, 6, that kind of thing. What is it they should do? They don't want to be oppressive. Ocean City was never oppressive. There wasn't a massive police presence. But it's clearly out of control. And we've traced for you the directives from that former attorney general that they're following. And cops are scared to death. They are going to get into big trouble if these khaki punks film them and all hell breaks loose, and they'll be charged with all kinds of things. Why should they risk all that? These kids are emboldened. They're going to try this again. They're going to do it all summer. That's what's been unleashed here. So what is it they can do or should do? I don't understand why they weren't doing it before. Murphy clearly making, another liar's argument. We've already tightened this up. What do you mean the cops don't have the tools to work with this? The people in Jersey, are they that sick, the progressive mindset? Yeah, they are. That they believe Murphy when he says something like that? I mean, these are prime brands. Ocean City's brand is one of a kind, America's family resort. So at 4 today, and we'll have some of our people on tomorrow, once we hear what they're going to say. But Dan, anything occur to you other than a return to what they did last summer in Ocean City? I guess that's about the only thing legally they can do.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a PR type event trying to cover bums and
that they. Why didn't they do this already?
I think it's also going to be Murphy. He kind of previewed in that interview that the spin on this is going to be, look, this was an isolated incident, and look how great the shore town of Ocean City is, and you need to come here. Tourism is great. Blah blah.
Well, all I can say is I take Ernie Triano at his word over in Wildwood. I mean, he went civil unrest. He went shut down everything. I don't remember anybody doing that. So I don't think he's going to mess around with this. But if cops wholesale exert their authority, that's what they have to do. What happens then? Well, you don't want that attorney general. You don't want them coming after a police. They won't, Dan, just go after the cop. They'll go after the police department. They'll say they're out of bounds. They'll say they're discriminatory somehow or another. They'll say, we don't want these kids to have records. By the way, why don't we want these punks to have records? You know what I mean? Several people have been on and saying that. I guess it's obligatory that you have to say, do I want a kid at the age of 16 or 17 to have a record? No, I don't, obviously. I know you don't either, Dan. But if you're engaging in what they're doing, then yeah, you ought to have a record. This isn't a kid was a little bit out of line. You know what I mean? This is all out chaos. Yeah, you ought to have a record, at least until you're no longer a juvenile. All right, let's go to Leslie of Bryn Mawr here on Talk Radio 1210. I think she's got a pretty good answer. Hey, Leslie, how you doing?
Aloha and Coco Van.
Ah, that's right. That's the new catchphrase, Coco Van. You did it very well.
I have a couple of comments on the flags. So a lot of people are afraid to fly their flags at their homes, so that's probably why they take them to the beach, because they know they're probably not going to get assaulted on the beach. However, that might change this year, considering what's going on at the shore. And I guarantee you, what was the woman's name that's making a big deal of this? Amy something?
Amy Rosenberg, yes, and she interviewed Sharon Butt. I'm reading it right from the Enquirer.
Well, the two of them both probably have "Hate has no home here" signs in their yard.
Yeah.
I guarantee that.
Look, Leslie, and I think you know this as well as anybody, this is not for some people, like when we were down there at Mulligan's, it's not just a political thing. It's kind of a lifestyle operation going on with the apparel and everything else. It's different. It's not just Republican versus Democrat, conservative versus liberal. Trump's outside all those boxes. It's different.
Yeah. Well, it's a movement, and he happens to be the head of it. I have a Trump flag that I bought so that I could road rally, and I had the best time when I do it, but I wouldn't dare put it at my house.
So you're afraid of vandalism.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just like, when the yard signs start to come out for the, people will put who they're voting for.
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, the Trump sign's going to get stolen, and the Biden sign will be there.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's putting out too many Biden signs. I can see.
Oh, they will. They'll be putting them out. They will. I mean, they're as hardcore as the Trumpers are. The Biden people are just as hardcore. Those that are in the camp.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see on that. Who's your person with the 3 names?
It's Charlemagne Dagad.
Ooh, that's a very good one.
Been very much in the news this week and under fire. And I really wish the Democrats would stop picking on the blacks and let them vote as Americans and not as black Americans. The way they keep trying to, keep them in this box that they all have to vote together is wrong. Let them vote for what they feel.
All right, thanks, Leslie. Thanks for Charlemagne Dagad.
Cookover
is certainly a worthy addition. This is Joan of Arc Day, the day that Joan of Arc was burned at the stake. Let's go to Charlie in northern Pennsylvania on Talk Radio 1210. Charlie, welcome in.
Hey, good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
How about Brian Donald? Would he help Trump, both being from Florida?
Well, not state by state, but if you heard him in that interview, I mean, it was.
He's great, yeah.
Yeah, and here's one thing. Sometimes he kind of minimized. They're not laying a glove on him as a black conservative to come after him in that manner. In other words, he's just going to charge forward and say what he would normally say. There wasn't a lot of too much analysis of that. And I like that. He's just going to stick with it. He knows what he's doing. That was all on his feet. He was running to do something else with me, Charlie. Yeah, I think he would bring a lot to it. The Florida thing can be worked out with him and Trump of who's where and residents. That can be taken care of. Yeah.
All right. And I have a side answer.
Sure.
Michael Jack Smith.
Yeah, now why?
3-0 pitch.
Yeah, well, that's.
I got to do it. I'm sorry.
Number 500. The career 500th home run for Michael Jack Smith.
That's the only reason that I know that that's legit, Dan, because of Harry Callis, that call. Otherwise, we didn't call him Michael Jack Smith, you know what I mean? But Harry Callis did. That's a good one. Yeah, he's still the all-time.
I want to play back real quick from Pat Hughes' work with Harry Callis, a little interview that he had with Harry where he explains why he did the Michael Jack Schmidt.
Entire career. Well, it was truly an honor to have followed the entire Hall of Fame career of Mike Schmidt, who I used to call Michael Jack Schmidt. The fact that with player movement nowadays, you don't see a guy stay with the same team for his entire career, and to have watched him play the game, he was a magnificent defensive third baseman besides all of his power numbers and what he did offensively. And that was truly an honor, and out of his 548 career home runs, I probably called all but a handful.
Yeah, well, first of all, great voice, one-of-a-kind voice there. Amazing. And Dan, Michael Jack Smith is now, and I predict in the future, the all-time greatest Philly, not Bryce Harper.
Oh,
Sorry
come
to
on.
get. Yeah.
Are you one of the guys that Bryce isn't running it out to first base? So now.
Well, that's one part, and that's only a little thing. No, it's because the guy was hitting power in that era. And second law,
good point.
He's either one or two. I think you can make a case Brooks Robinson was the better fielder by a hair. Bryce is a good fielder, but this guy was otherworldly. His only crime, he made it look too easy in Philadelphia.
I don't know. Was Michael Jack Schmidt flipping into the crowd to chase down foul balls?
You didn't have to. He just, his crime was he made it look too easy. I give Harper an edge because it's all out, to your point. I like the all-out guy. I like Pete Rose. Schmidt made it look too easy. It's like the gifts were so he just, he didn't have to do anything. So, all right, 855-839-1210. Wait a minute, Dan. The press is waiting to be let back into the courtroom. It was supposed to happen at 2:15. I'm not sure what's happening at 2:15. Something from the judge, I believe. So we are on that back in the main courtroom. Don't think it's the decision, but it's something from the judge where the media is going to be involved. We'll give you that the instant we get it. More of your calls. And what a good time to have Alan Dershowitz coming up. His thoughts on Judge Merchan, and in addition to that, how he thinks this guy would gladly get Donald Trump by tagging in an alternate juror. As much as I think that's possible, that would be incredible to me. Just in, things that I can't imagine happening given the political repercussions of that. If that didn't glide Trump to the presidency, I don't know what would. You go tagging in an alternate juror at the 11th hour here. All right, so we'll see what's happening. Dan and I are on it. We'll let you know what's happening as the press is allowed media back into the courtroom. Hey, don't miss out on the memorial sale at Rescue Natural Supplements going on now with prices rising across the country. Rescue is rolling back pricing to the year 2010. Plus, enjoy their fantastic buy 2 bottles, get 1 free. Buy 3 bottles, get 2 free memorial deals. Stock up on your favorites, save big with Rescue rollback pricing, generous free bottle offers, whatever you need of, 1250 omega-3s, cholesterol supports, probiotics, natural pain relief, everything is on sale. To order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a Rescue product consultant or shop online easily at res-q.com. res-q.com. Don't miss this opportunity for huge savings on over 50 Rescue products to tackle your health goals. Remember, 2010 rollback prices and the memorial deals are going on now through May 30th. So go shop res-q.com. res-q.com.
A pleasant air mass has returned to the Delaware Valley. We'll have a mixture of sun and clouds today. High temperature up around 76. For tonight, a cool night, becoming mostly clear with a low 56. And for Friday, another pleasant day, mostly sunny with a high 78.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Today, we're the largest injury firm in the world, and I'm thankful to you for trusting us all these years. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours. At any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues.
Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new brick you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-505-1608. 800-505-1608. 800-505-1608.
Cozy Jewelers is the place to go to for exquisite engagement rings. Thinking about popping the question this summer? Whether you buy something off the shelf or go for a custom engagement ring, Cozy is there for you and will make sure you get the perfect ring thanks to Cozy's 5 C's. Color, cut, clarity, carat, and the Cozy touch. This summer, begin a lifetime of happiness with a ring from Cozy. Go to Cozy Jewelers in Newtown Square or shop online at CozyJewelers.com. That's CozyJewelers.com. And step up to the 5th C, C-O-Z-Z-I.
Hi, everyone. Matt here from Emmons Roofing and Siding. There are a lot of companies out there that say they do roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Some good, some not so good. Be careful of those that say buy 2, get 2 free. Does that really make sense? Think about it. At Emmons, we don't offer gimmicks, just quality products installed by our experienced craftsmen. We do offer 12 months, same as cash financing, though. That's not a gimmick. That's because we know how tough it is for some people right now to get these projects done. If you need roofing, siding, or windows and doors, call us for a free estimate today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
Listen to Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sunday mornings at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Learn about investing, tax strategies, and more. Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sunday mornings at 9.
How did your son or daughter do in school this year? Do they need a strong finish academically? The end of the school year is the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna and New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown at 800-300-0003. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, a pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of 2 to 1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders, including high anxiety, social, and emotional, and including bipolar. Do not wait. Help your student finish strong. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for a no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today at 800-300-0003. Online, newhopeacademy.net. Call New Hope Academy today.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Tom Giordano Show. Momentarily, we hope to talk with really the great Professor Alan Dershowitz, particularly on Judge Marchand and what could happen here in the trial. I know he had a bit of an emergency here, so this could be...
He needs about another 2 or 3 minutes before you jump.
Another 2. Okay,
Yeah.
Joe, Dan, you may not know the meaning of this, but this is an all-time great because this means people really listen to this show. Alan in Hamilton. All right, Alan, what's the 3-word name?
Joe Bag of Donuts.
Yes. My all-time, one of the nicest men that ever lived and a guy that gave us such pleasure with his books. Joe Sparaglia, Joe Bag of Donuts. Do you remember why he was named Joe Bag of Donuts?
I can't remember that. I just remember the name.
Yeah, Alan, he said when you go visit someone, he did a lot of the sick or somebody in the hospital, you got to go with something in your hand. That's how he became Joe Bag of Donuts.
Nuts. Yeah,
that is a great one. Great one, Alan. Thank you. Yeah, Dan, we all should have that on our
I
tombstones.
don't want to be that guy, though. Is Bago one word or is it bag?
Bag of Donuts. You say it quickly. Joe,
It's 4 words. I don't know.
I don't know.
Joey Bag.
Joe
Donuts.
Bag Donuts. I got a rule on that one. That is so sentimental to me. That's such a good one. All right. We're trying to get you, Professor Dershowitz. Sometimes landing the plane here is a little bit difficult. And don't know what to make of this report on Fox, the media coming back in. I don't know that it's anything special as much as they're chronicling what the jury's been asking for. I know that juror 6 asked for an Alka-Seltzer today. Let's go to Robert in Ben Salem. Hi, Robert. Thank you for the wait. Go right ahead.
No problem, Dom. How you doing?
Good.
Dan? Beautiful day. But a real quick, funny story. There was a guy who I pass in his house, and he has 2 flags in his front yard. One says F. Joe Biden, one says Donald Trump 2024. His neighbor, an older lady, was very irate about it and complained to it, and I was watching him across the street waiting for an order, and he's just drinking a can of Coors laughing, and she got mad and reported it, and they told her we can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
the next day I drove by, and he still has them same 2 flags, but now he's got a 3rd flag that's even bigger that says, my neighbor is a Karen. Now, he lives at the end of the block, so he only has one neighbor. And I'm thinking, I love this country sometimes.
We got to get a picture of that. We got to get that up on Twitter. And how would you like to live next door to either Mrs. Alito or the neighbor down the block that called her the C word and all the flags that have been put up here?
It's like a political Mrs. Kravitz from Bewitched. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my neighbor's a Karen. My God.
It's hilarious. But I'm going to change my answer. This woman had a 3-word name, which was later changed to another 3-word name, and word is she started a massive war. That would be Helen of Sparta, who became Helen of Troy.
Oh,
you guys have a great day.
That is a great one. Yeah, Dan, how many women? I mean, look at Stormy of Daniels. What she has.
That Michael Love Cohen guy.
Yeah, what she has wrought here. But Helen of Troy is the all-time, I mean, my God, thousands of ships sailing in each direction, launching ships and all. What did Stormy Daniels ever launch here,
Some
so
great
to speak?
answers today.
That's going to make it a little bit difficult. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break here because we think we'll get Alan Dershowitz on today, and we want to hear him before anything more happens with this jury. And then briefly with the professor, then we'll have the lightning round. Here's how you get in. 855-839-1210.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Get slimmer for the summer by losing a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or go to njdiet.com. Get ready for spring with njdiet.com.
Have you been thinking about doing a Roth conversion, but the upfront taxes are holding you back? Welcome to Rothright. We can show you how to significantly reduce taxes on a conversion, potentially saving hundreds of thousands, even millions in taxes over your lifetime. A Roth conversion will give you tax-free income, eliminate required minimum distributions, and leave a tax-free estate to your heirs. Sign up for a free educational seminar now. Call 855-415-ROTH. That's 855-415-ROTH. Rothright is not a financial advisory firm. Consult with a tax professional before making any financial decisions.
And paid for by AG Marketing Group. Attention timeshare owners. If you need to get rid of your timeshare for any reason, please listen to the following message. Getting out of a timeshare commitment is not easy, and it takes time. But we specialize in helping consumers legally get rid of their expensive timeshares forever. Can't get the vacation dates that work for you? Maybe you felt taken advantage of or forced into the timeshare? Maybe you just can't continue to shoulder those monthly payments any longer. If you need to eliminate your timeshare commitment, then you need to take down this number, 800-866-7061. We will safely and legally get rid of your timeshare payments forever, all with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Don't continue to let your timeshare be a financial burden to you and your loved ones. Call us now at 800-866-7061. The call is free, the consultation is free. Call 800-866-7061. That's 800-866-7061. Again, 800-866-7061.
All Dom Giordano listeners, follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, he is one of the greatest in any field of endeavor. That's even basketball. Wanted to play Dr. Fauci. Professor Alan Dershowitz with us here on the Dom Giordano Show. Professor, thank you. I know you had a bit of an emergency. We want to promote your podcast, The Dersh Show. Didn't know fully about it, but you said something about Judge Marchand that I don't think most judges in this situation would ever break that glass, because if he does what you suggest could happen about tagging in an alternate juror in a situation, that would be devastating for the country.
It would be. It would be. It's happened in the past in a limited number of cases where you get jurors that are 11-1 for conviction, and there's one holdout. And the foreman goes to the judge and says, well, there's nothing we can do to persuade this guy. He won't participate. He just puts his arms on his chest and says, no, he's innocent. He's innocent. Sorry. And in a couple of those cases, the judge has said, well, if you won't participate in the discussions at all, then you're not an appropriate juror. And they bounced the juror and brought in a alternate jury, and they got an immediate conviction. I don't put it past this judge to do that. It would be utterly unconstitutional, improper, unethical, and illegal.
Yeah. What does Alan Dershowitz see? You were in the courtroom and you said you saw the real Marchand when everybody else was out. Specifically, what do you see in this guy?
I see a guy who's determined to preside over a conviction, whether to help his daughter, I don't know, whether to make sure he's acceptable by New York society. He doesn't want to be Dershowitz. That's become a verb now. Everybody knows what happened to me when I defended Donald Trump as president in front of the United States Senate. I was canceled by all my old friends on Martha's Vineyard, many of my colleagues at Harvard Law School, many in the legal profession. My family, my wife, my children were canceled. And, I have a thick skin. But a lot of judges don't want to experience that. If you live in New York, Manhattan, where it's, 85 to 90% anti-Trump, the judge clearly wants to be on the, quote, good side of this case. And that became so clear when he went ballistic with lawyer Costello. He had his, De Niro moment. De Niro was outside of the court house the other day ranting and raving, but the judge was De Niro in the courthouse. You looking at me? Hey, you looking at me? You talking to me? You talking to me? You talking to me? He went berserk because this lawyer stared him down, and raised his eyebrows. Let me tell you, I raised my eyebrows when I saw some of those rulings as well.
Professor, you really just unearthed something here, too. With the reason I like Sam Alito, and it's not about the flag stuff now and showing partiality. The first time I interviewed him, we were just talking about the Phillies, and he told me he kept a scorebook on the Phillies games. He's from the area, and he said he does his legal work, and then he sits there with the scorebook. Sometimes, Dom, he criticizes and overrules the umpires. I didn't see this guy going to Georgetown parties and wanting to fit in that city in that manner. He was what he was. And that's, to your point, what I would want in a judge. You can do it, but that's got to be incredibly difficult, particularly when your daughter is so deeply involved in a big league way with Democrat politics. You just can't be in this case.
Yeah, and the same hypocrites who say that Alito should be out of the case because of his wife or Thomas say nothing about Judge Marchand, who has a much greater financial stake, even if indirect, through his daughter in the outcome of this case and in the rulings in this case. So there's a lot of hypocrisy there. I've met Sam Alito a few times. I like him very much. He's a very, very straight guy. And he told me one day that the reason he became a criminal lawyer was because of seeing me in court when he was a law clerk to a judge that I was in front of. And I was very honored by that, obviously. I don't agree with many of his decisions. I agree with his decision today on the NRA, unanimous decision, rare unanimous decision by the Supreme Court. But you don't have to agree with somebody to admire them. And, he's a human being, and his wife is a human being, and she has her constitutional rights to fly a flag. I wouldn't have done it, and I don't think she'll do it again. But the criticism of him is way overwrought.
Now, it's a twofer with Alan Dershowitz here. You mentioned that NRA decision. I haven't been able to get to it today. I'm aware of it. Tell me why you're supportive of what the Supreme Court did here.
The Supreme Court, obviously, the three liberals don't like the NRA, but they ruled in the NRA's favor, saying the government was punishing the NRA, that liberal political figures in New York were trying to punish the NRA because they disagreed with its views, and the government can't be on the side of one or the other. They have to be neutral, and I think that opinion, by the way, will have real implications to what's going on in university campuses today as universities try to take sides on issues like BDS, boycott, divestment, and sanctions against Israel, or DEI. I think the Supreme Court may be moving toward requiring more neutrality from government institutions, which would be a very good thing. I wish universities would be neutral as well. Universities should not take positions on Israel, on elections, on any controversial issues. They should. Their job is to teach, not to propagandize.
Your book, Get Trump, needs another edition, I would say, after
It's getting
this.
one. It's going to get one.
There you go. I thought I should have known.
I just spoke to my publisher. Yeah, I spoke to my publisher today, and I said, regardless of the verdict, let's put out an additional version in which I do an essay on the outcome of the case. So I think that may happen. We'll see. We'll see. It could be.
I know how the wheels turn here. I don't know how you fit all this in, including the Durr Show, which is available on YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and I have to check that out every day. Have you seen in your experience this 444 thing where the judge says, hey, you can say this is the reason, falsifying business, or it can be election fraud, or the third reason, and if four say that and four say this, you're all unanimous, though. You found a reason. Is that done a lot?
No, it's done in places where it's clear what the crime is, drug crimes mostly. But it should not be done in cases where the crimes are as amorphous as this one is. I mean, these crimes were unbelievably amorphous. A tax violation that, in his mind, that 2 years hence he might take a deduction or might not take a deduction, or his accountant might take a deduction. You can take that into account, or you can say he was defrauding the voting public, because the voting public all thought for sure that he was a virgin and never had done anything improper sexually. And so if they had learned about the Stormy Daniels thing, that would have clearly changed the outcome. The prosecution had the nerve to actually argue that if the Stormy Daniels thing come out before the election, it would have changed the election results and Hillary Clinton would have been president. They actually argued that to the jury.
That's election denial right there, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. No, look, the prosecution in this case did a lot of things wrong. They misrepresented a very crucial fact to the jury. They said you could convict without believing Michael Cohen. No, you can't. The crucial conversation, which allegedly occurred in the Trump Tower and involved Alan Weisselberg, who wasn't called as a witness, the only witness to that conversation, alleged conversation, is Cohen. And if you don't believe Cohen, you can't convict. You cannot prove without Cohen that Trump knew or engineered or participated in or conspired with how these payments would be listed by an accountant. You need Cohen for that, and the prosecution misled the jury on that.
Absolutely. Professor, thank you so much on a day like this. We appreciate it. Can hardly wait till the edition
Anytime.
to the Get to the Trump book. And thank you. Thanks for sharing everything today.
Sure. Take care. Bye.
Professor Alan Dershowitz. Dan, I didn't want to push him. He's making too many other critical points to the Larry David stuff. I knew what would happen there. But you know what? He is the perfect arguer, Dan, in that he has a thick skin, but he goes after you aggressively. That's a perfect way to don't be thin-skinned, but hit him back with double. All right, right now it is time for...
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
Joan of Arc, 3-word names. Dan, this is a pretty good one. It allows me to tell a brief story. Bill in Bucks County. Bill, what's yours?
Well, he was an outlaw in the 19th century, and he was known as William Bonney, but better known as Billy the Kid.
Absolutely. And, Dan, the last Republican mayor of Philadelphia was alive for 3 years while Billy the Kid was still alive.
That's shocking. It's amazing.
Yep, that's the all-timer. Joe in Exton goes for the chalk with this big time. The first place, maybe a name that you think of. Joe, what's yours?
Hello, Dom, and happy Thursday afternoon. In Philly, there is a roadway known as MLK Drive. My person having 3 words in his name is Martin Luther King.
Very good one. Yep, an all-timer when you have
take out the junior?
Martin Luther. Yeah, you take out the Joe did. We got to let him in on that. He didn't go with the junior. Boris Borowski Jr. All right, let's go to Dennis. We'll do that one of these weeks. If there's a child in the offing, we have to name it here on the show. we have tell Maisie I have naming rights vis-a-vis Roe.
Wait,
Roe
she's not going to be happy with that, Dom.
Maisie can have the first couple selections, and when the voting starts, you got to give Roe a third one. I'm sure she has a name.
There's not going to
there.
be another Dominic Jr. out there. Dominic the Third. That's DJ's job, Dom.
Yeah. Luke escaped that. Dennis in Cherry Hill on Talk Radio 1210. All right, Dennis, what's yours?
Hey, Dom, this is a really obscure one from back in the days of the Saturday morning cartoons when I used to play Schoolhouse Rock to educate all the little children. All right. There was a character in Conjunction Junction named Rufus Xavier Sarsaparilla. One of the most bizarre names I've ever heard in my life, but I never forgot it.
It's a great one.
There's a great one. Earl of Tacony. Earl, what's yours today?
Dan must be ready to record because I have laryngitis again. So I can't sing when I have a frog in my throat. And speaking of frogs, there's Kermit the Frog.
That is a great one. Yep. Anything with the, like Vlad the Impaler.
How do you go from Kermit the Frog to Vlad the Impaler?
Nobody came up
Where's the mind,
today,
Dom?
Dan, with the great, like Alexander the Great. You know, we didn't hear any great. I was kind of surprised.
That was
Mark's got a good one. I've always liked this one. Mark in Wilmington. What's yours, Mark?
Hey, Dom. Hot Lips Houlihan from the movie and the series MASH.
Yes, Hot Lips Houlihan. All right. I often think about that with Chrissy Houlihan, but I never say that. Okay. All right, Dan. This was a good side question from Joan of Arc today. Great ones. Give us some of the real contenders here.
Michael Jack Schmidt's got to be up there. I think Helen of Sparta / Helen of Troy, Billy the Kid, Joey Bag of Donuts. Might be contentious if we go with that one.
I love it, but you're right. That might be 4.
Kermit the Frog, Hot Lips Houlihan, Wild Bill Hickok, Mark David Chapman, Charlemagne the God. All great answers. I'm leaning towards either Michael Jack Schmidt or Helen of Sparta, Helen of Troy, just because of the peripherals that came with those calls.
Yeah, I like Helen of Troy.
Helen of Troy?
I thought it was not a clear winner because these were all great. Let's go with Helen of Troy.
It's Robert and Ben Salem, man. He's killing it.
Yep. Real good one.
Great at the side questions.
Yep. All right. Alan Dershowitz, if you missed some of it, you were back and forth. Was just great stuff about Judge Marchand and about the pressure. And the reason why this guy, you can never believe fairness. His daughter alone should knock him out of the box. He's got to recuse himself. Who do they want to recuse, though? Sammy Alito. I'm glad to hear his impression of Alito. Dan, I knew you weren't going to get him out of the box. He wanted to do his scorebook. Imagine watching a Phillies game with a scorebook. All right, we're back tomorrow. We'll see what happens with the jury, but Rich has us covered. 4 big hours coming up here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made.